All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Close. We are live and we have a lot to discuss. On top of that, we have a lot of earnings to get into. This is what we have up on the day for earnings. Pure Storage, Marvell, GitLab, Asana, Crowdstrike, American Eagle, and Okta. So you got a mix between semiconductors, software names, more software heavy on today's earnings, and then American Eagle, which is retailer. So you got a lot of different companies reporting today. We will be getting those earnings in about 15 minutes. We will have Technical Tuesday after the earnings, probably around 4:20, 4:30. But we definitely have a lot of earnings to get into. Now, since the market opened, we've had a bunch of different headlines come out. We left when Trump was doing the cabinet meeting. And we honestly didn't get too much from that cabinet meeting, even in the Q&A. I mean, there were a couple of comments here and there. What we actually got, which was the most important thing, is the odds of Kevin Hassett becoming the next Fed chair, the shadow Fed, effectively, on prediction markets rising to 83%. Why did that happen? Well, this is what Trump had to say at his 2 p.m. announcement. We'll talk about what that announcement was for in a second.
Yo, Gebbia, I want to thank you all for being here. It's a great group. And I guess a potential Fed chair is here too. I don't know. Are we allowed to say that? Potential. He's a respected person, that I can tell you. Thank you, Kevin. Today is Giving Tuesday.
So we have a lot of special people here with us. And then he says, maybe, I guess, a potential Fed chair is here too. I don't know. Are we allowed to say that? Thank you, Kevin. Seems kind of obvious that this is going to happen. And Kevin Hassett is going to be the Fed chair. Now, prediction markets don't have Kevin Hassett at 95 or 97%. They still have him at 85%, even after these, or 83%. He was at like 78% yesterday. So you did get a bump up, but not fully out of the race from Kevin Warsh and some of the other people that potentially could be the Fed chair. Is this bullish? Yeah. I mean, probabilities on the Fed futures went even higher based on Kevin Hassett potentially being the guy who is going to be the next Fed chair. We were at 86 in the morning. We are now at 89.2. I mean, it's all but guaranteed there we're going to get this rate cut. So, I mean, it's bullish and the market needs that. Now, broader market, what happened today? S&P 500 relatively green. It's been an overall green day. You have some pockets of red, but most of those pockets of red are actually the pockets that were going green last week, which were your healthcare names and the broadening out trade starting to come back to tech. By the way, the 2 p.m. announcement was for the Trump accounts in Invest America. It was with Michael Dell announcing that $6.25 billion donation, which is going to be $250 for 25 million people added to their Invest America accounts. By the way, if you do the math on these Invest America accounts, that means 25 million kids are now going to get effectively $1,250 as soon as they're born into an S&P 500 fund. And if you look at the, let me just pull this up right here, trajectory of what should happen. So by the time these kids we're looking at 60, they should have $300,000. So from 18 to 60, if you assume S&P 500 returns 10% a year, which is not guaranteed, they should have about 320 grand or 310 grand. Pretty cool. I mean, pretty cool to get people interested into the financial ecosystem and give them a skin in the game. And the fact that Michael Dell is making that donation is definitely a big deal. So I think for everyone in the morning who thought that the 2 p.m. announcement was going to be about the Trump accounts, yeah, that's what it was about. Now, how much will Hood get of that? No one knows. We know that Brad Gerstner has been working very intimately with Robinhood to be able to set up this initiative. Robinhood has already demoed an example of what these accounts will look like on their platform. I don't think, by the way, Meta right there, high of day 647. I don't think Hood's going to get all those accounts. Obviously, if your dad uses Schwab and they have a newborn, the newborn's probably going to have that money on the platform that their parents use, like Schwab. But as more millennials start to have kids, if we ever have any kids, and we're using Robinhood, then most likely our kids will have Robinhood. So I do think there will be a chunk of those 25 million that go to Hood. But more importantly, it's just more people investing, which is net good for Robinhood. Robinhood right there, 126.91. That's up 3%. MicroStrategy actually up 6%. Bitcoin also a nice little rebound on the day. It did hit 92 during the market open. It hit 83 in the morning. So that 83 to 92 reversal was nice to see. Apple all-time highs hit 287. $4.23 trillion company. NVIDIA at 181.50. We have a headline NVIDIA that we'll talk about in a second as well. Snowflake, that's up 3%. AppLovin, great day. That's up 4%. Costco's even up 1%. BMNR up 11%. Google's trying to hit 315. Reddit's up 0.24. I mean, you're just seeing a lot of momentum across the board. Palantir was at 175, now back at 170, but still pretty green across the entire market. IREN, right? Wow, 13. Okay, I didn't see IREN being down 13%. The convertible notes, I am not an expert on because I don't know them. I don't specifically know the ones that IREN issued. But I think there's something there that I was reading one piece of analysis that it's just not the most shareholder friendly. These convertible notes. I mean, not every convertible notes have a lot of different nuances to them, but some of them can be very effective. So, for example, when MicroStrategy was getting all this money in 2024 at a 0% coupon, and they were essentially taking that money buying Bitcoin at 50,000, 60,000. That was not the worst idea. No, those are different types of convertible notes. IREN's not buying Bitcoin with it or buying an asset that's going to outperform the interest they have to pay on the debt, which in MicroStrategy's case was zero, so not the worst deal. They're trying to build data centers, which are very capital intensive. So I'm not sure exactly how the market's interpreting it, but IREN's in a massive correction. The stock was at 80, now it's at 40. So you're talking about a 50% correction. Question now is, does this rebound? But IREN right here, down 13%. NBIS as well, I don't think held on to the green. Yeah, NBIS back to 97, that's down 3%. Then CoreWeave was at 82 in the morning, back to 76. So that is down 0.5% as well. I do not know what happened to ALAB. It was up 10. Wow, 13%. If anyone has the analysis, I didn't see anything today. I mean, I just saw a bunch of people posting technical charts. It was up 10%. Now it's down 13. Something fundamental had to take place for this one to get hit. I'll put the poll in the chat for which one outperforms. Let me know which one of these stocks own. I think Marvell is the biggest one that most people have today. Which one outperforms? We have CrowdStrike, Marvell. What was the other one? Okta, and then I think we'll put American Eagle up there. Let's see if American Eagle can outperform some of these names. Okta and then AEO. GitLab is another one that might be a more exciting name that gets up there because of Amazon. So I don't know too much about the relationship between Amazon and ALAB. But if that is the case, Amazon introduced those Trainium 3 trips, got the market excited for like 5 seconds, then it went right back down, 238 down to 234. Definitely chipped off a little bit of NVIDIA when they announced that stuff. And we'll go deeper into the Amazon announcement later, but that's at 234.80, up about 0.39%. Oklo up 6% of the day. Tesla basically flat. Walmart's up 1%. And then the S&P 500 at 681.90 on the day. Apple again at 285. Now, what is the market expecting for some of these earnings? And by the way, before we get into that, let me just share this real quick. Remember American Bitcoin, ABTC, Eric Trump's company that's down 37%? Basically, yes, insiders were able to sell. He tweeted today, our pre-merger private placement shares unlocked. These early investors are freely available to cash in on their profits for the first time, which is why we will see volatility. Our fundamentals are virtually unmatched in our differentiation, mining Bitcoin at 50% of spot with 56% gross margins in Q3 and climbing the Bitcoin ranks daily. I'm also holding all my shares. So you did have insiders that sold, which was inevitable. It was not Eric Trump as per his tweet, but nonetheless, you did get a bit of pain. Yes, we will have Technical Tuesday after the earnings, probably around 4:25. And so once we get through the earnings, we will have TT. On NVIDIA, I thought this was really important to look at. So the NVIDIA CFO was at a UBS conference, and here's what they said about the OpenAI partnership. Right now, the quote is that $500 billion does not include any of the work that we're doing on the next part of the agreement with OpenAI. We believe we'll continue working with OpenAI, and we still have not completed a definitive agreement, but we're working with them. So you've got the OpenAI CFO saying, hey, that $500 billion in 5 quarters that Jensen talked about in GTC, that doesn't include China, and it also doesn't include any of the stuff we announced with OpenAI at the end of September in that massive $100 billion 10 gigawatt partnership that both companies came to an agreement on. So, I mean, you got NVIDIA trading at 25 times next year's earnings with 2 major things that are not included in the guidance. You get any of those things to help. That might be a real big tailwind for NVIDIA. NVIDIA right there, green on the day. As you can see, tech pretty much green across the board. The names that didn't end up going green were some of the red ones, or were some of the names that got rotated into that are now red on the day. A little bit of a preview on Marvell and CrowdStrike. Let's get some coverage right here. And then in about 5 minutes, we should get some answers on what these earnings will look like today.
Important piece of the chip puzzle.
Yes, because this is also a custom chip maker that competes with Broadcom. And so there's 3 key areas to focus on. First, The Broadcom problem. Analysts say Broadcom has won customer engagements with most of the major players, raising concerns about whether Marvell actually fits into this competitive landscape. And you can just see the difference in the stock prices over the last year. Marvell in the red, Broadcom up 129%. Second, the Amazon situation. Marvell's AWS business has been essentially flat quarter over quarter since ramping in late 2024. Disappointing compared to peers' growths in AI projects. There are also specific concerns about Marvell's share in Amazon Trainian chips, with some analysts suggesting the company has lost ground to competitors. AWS did not mention Marvell today at their event. And last but not least, third, the CEO vote of confidence. Matt Murphy bought $1 million of stock in late September at around $77. Shares have outperformed the SOX index since then, but investors want to know what he sees that they're missing. Dun, dun, dun.
All right,
Mike.
We will look for it, Christina. Thank you. And Seema, pretty strong stock within software, CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike, Mike, has been killing it this year, and that's reflected in its stock price, as you just mentioned. It's up over 50% in 2025 on this bet that artificial intelligence is accelerating the need for cybersecurity as bad actors get more sophisticated. So what Wall Street wants to know from the CEO, George Kurtz, tonight is more evidence on new customer wins, how its latest acquisition of Pangea Technology is using to secure AI agents is being integrated into the full stack. Kurtz recently sharing that companies' agents can speed up the triage process by hunting down malware. Kurtz also added that at some point security will be fully autonomous. He didn't provide a timeline. We'll see if he does tonight. The stock is currently trading about 10% off its most recent high, Mike.
All right, so CrowdStrike and Marvell, I think, are the big ones that everyone's looking at. You got the data center names that are now starting to get into a little bit of a sell-off. Again, I've learned this with owning NBIS now. Like, seeing the volatility here, I think over the past couple of weeks, it's not affecting me as much because these are volatile names. I mean, if you own IREN, CoreWeave, NBIS, you're getting into them for the massive 10, 15% days. But with that volatility to the upside comes the volatility to the downside. So, I mean, this thing could go back to 80 on any bad data center headline. If Oracle issues more debt, the street could get mad. CoreWeave's credit default swap starts spiking up. NBIS could get hit as collateral damage. IREN had this $2 billion dilution yesterday. I don't think it affects NBIS or CoreWeave that much, but nonetheless, it might be taking down all of them. So I think it's just, and then Cypher and Wolf are up 11% each on Wednesday. Both of them now down 10% on the day. So, and both of them are co-signed by Google as well. Wolf actually down 7%. So I think when you own these names, unless you're owning them from a very low cost basis, which some people, got into these names really early. If you're buying them here, you're buying them for the ups and for the downs. And they're much, much more volatile than a traditional stock in the market. So it's just what comes with the game on these data center plays. Microsoft right here, 489. That's gapping up a little bit. Amcor, amazing day, hit $40.92. Now, if we close above 40, which we have 2 minutes left, that would be incredible. If we can hold 40 for a second day in a row tomorrow, that would also be incredible. By the way, Stock Talk, the person who got me into Amcor, he will be on the show tomorrow at 10:45. So he'll be on tomorrow. You guys will get to meet him, and it'll be cool for him to explain kind of his stock picking philosophy and how he found Amcor as well. Reddit goes right on the day. Vertiv, that's up 0.92%. Google right there at 315. S&P at 681. Basically a flat day for the S&P. I will take it. Don't send us back down to 650. If we got to stay at 680, that is totally fine. Also, fun fact for everybody, tomorrow, December 3rd, is the seasonal bottom for December. Since 1950 to 2024, December 3rd has always been the bottom. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe tomorrow you're going to get a little bit of volatility to the downside, and that would be our bottom. If not, then we're going to see how this December turns out. But that's one thing to watch out for as we get into the third trading day of December. All right, here we go. We got a lot of earnings on deck. Most of you guys are saying that CrowdStrike outperforms. Yeah, 54% of you say CrowdStrike, 28% Marvell, 9% Okta, and then 7% AEO. And so we are going to see how these companies end up putting up results. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We will have Technical Tuesday after the earnings. Tuesday, December 2nd, 4 p.m. The stock market is now closed. All right. We are done for trading, at least in the regular session for the stock market today. 681.43 on the S&P. 681.43 on the S&P, basically flat on the day. NVIDIA got about a $1.50 move. CoreWeave was down about 1.34%. NBIS down 3.69%. NBIS was at 101 in the morning. So again, the volatility in this name is pretty incredible. IREN, I got to do some work on why the street absolutely hated these convertible notes, but the street did not like it. 15% down on IREN. And it doesn't just seem like it's a reaction to dilution. It seems like it's a reaction to the type of dilution, because dilution is inevitable within these data center names. And so we got to see what exactly the street doesn't like about this. Google right here, 315. Intel, great day, up 8.65%. Intel, incredible move right here. Shopify, that's up 5%. Robinhood, that's up 2.2%. Baba, that was down about 1.9% again. S&P 500 at 681. NVIDIA at 181.46. MicroStrategy got a bit more of recovery at 181.33 after being down 10%. And then BMNR as well, up 11% on the day as ETH got to move back over 3,000. Could it be algos on IREN? I don't think a 15% move is just algos. If all the data center stocks were like bleeding like IREN, then yes. I think this is something that someone, whether it's an institutional shareholder or retail investors, and I doubt it's retail because retail is really diamond hands on IREN, there's someone else that is not loving the convertible notes that they issued. And so we'll have to look deeper into seeing what's happening there. Palantir, 170.69, up 2% on the day. UNH as well, not too bad of a day, up 0.37%. And then ASML basically hitting all-time highs as well. Okay, let's get into earnings. We should be getting results pretty soon. What do we have after hours? Pure Storage was up 7%. It's now up 1% after hours. We'll start getting these numbers soon. Marvell was up 2% on the day. GitLab was up 5% during the day. Asana was up 4% during the day. Crowdstrike was up 2% during the day. American Eagle was actually down during the day. And then Okta was up 2%. So a lot of these names were green. And we're going to see how they perform after hours. Now, what does the market want from them? Let's just pull this up right here. CrowdStrike Street wants 94 cents and 1.2 billion in revenue. Marvell Street wants 74 cents and 2.07 billion of revenue. GitLab, they want 20 cents, 239 million of revenue. Okta, they want 76 cents a share and 730 million of revenue. Pure Storage, 58 cents and 956 million of revenue. And then American Eagle, they want 1.32 billion of revenue and 44 cents. And so those are the expectations. Asana, they want 6 cents of EPS and 198 million of revenue. Okta, do we have it? Okta goes red after hours by about 1%, not too crazy. Okta revenue, 742 million. Okta, it's a beat on the top and the bottom. 742 versus 730, that's a beat on revenue. 76 cents expected, 82 cents earned. That's a beat on EPS. Stock is flat. Market's not caring too much, but those are your earnings for Okta. Okta is not necessarily the most volatile name that's out there. Doesn't really move like that. Year to date, this stock is up 4%. $14 billion company. So that's what you have on Okta. I think Marvell and CrowdStrike are going to be the main ones that we look at. So that's what we have on Okta. Let's see if we can get some more of these numbers as we get into the close. We talked in the morning about the Netflix Warner Brothers Discovery deal as well. Netflix has officially submitted a all cash offer. Now Larry Ellison really wants HBO Max and Warner Brothers, so maybe Paramount comes in with a higher offer, but Netflix is trying to see if they can acquire it. And the more I think about it, the more I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Netflix needs really good IP. And every time you get into a show in Netflix that's not made by them, they have, it's like leaving in 5 days or something. It's like really tough for them to just get really good content. And HBO would have that. CrowdStrike up a little bit after hours, up 1%. Don't see the move. American Eagle, that's up 2%. Up a little bit more. Let's see. American Eagle. There you go. That's getting a bigger candle. 5%. Sydney Sweeney pump. Let's see if she can do it. Still don't have the numbers on either. I mean, she was a big deal last quarter. She got into a lot of controversy with the ad and all that stuff. So, I mean, if anything, that got a lot more people to talk about. American Eagle up 4.2%. CrowdStrike up 1%. GitLab, that one's up 5%. GitLab getting some love. Google was supposed to buy GitLab back in 2021. Like they were acquiring shares and then they just never ended up making the acquisition. But GitLab right there, that's up 5.3%. Pure Storage is down. 6.4%. Okta's now down 2%. Asana's up 7%. GitLab just went flat. Marvell, this is the big one. That's down 2. Let's see if that reverses. Maybe we can get a little bit of a different print there. Okay, we got Marvell beat by 3% on EPS, 76 cents versus 74 cents expected. Revenue came in line with expectations. 2.07 billion, revenue's up 37% year over year. EPS is up 77% year over year. Street does not like it, at least not enough to give them a premium. Marvell is intertwined with Amazon, as we talked about before. Marvell right there down what 1.87%, $80 billion company. This one has rebounded really nicely on the 6-month time frame. As you can see right there in September, it hit $60 right now at 92, down from 104. So even in the November drawdown, 104 to 92 is not that crazy, especially because it's up from 60, but stock's still down about 2%. Wow, Pure Storage down 15. I don't have their numbers yet. Let's see if I can find these numbers on Pure Storage. Again, this is another SaaS company. Enterprise data storage, a lot of those different things. PTSG, oh my goodness, PTSG 17%. Okay, what did they say? Crowdstrike is not out. Pure Storage beat by 1% on revenue, 964 versus 956. They came in line on EPS. They had to say something about guidance for them to be getting this type of reaction. 18% down. No, it's not a REIT. It's a SaaS company. And it's being pretty sassy right here. 17% down. Marvell, one could argue their products are sticky, but it's not seeming like Spider-Man is going to come save them, even though he also has some sticky webs. So Marvell right there down 3% on the day. GitLab still down 6%. CrowdStrike now going red, but we don't have numbers on CrowdStrike yet. Should be getting it soon. American Eagle also flat, and then Okta down 2%. Okta down 2%. Wow, Pure Storage. This one's not, no one's buying this dip. Like, the market's just letting her fall. They're just letting her fall. Pure Storage down 17%. It was up 7% during the day, too. That makes it worse. GitLab numbers are out 25 cents versus 20 cents expected. That's a beat by 25%. Revenue 244 versus 239. That's beat by 2%. EPS up 19% year over year. Revenue's up 25% year over year. GitLab not really getting any love either. Down 4%, even with a double beat. Even with a double beat. Okay, so Asana is the only one getting some love right here. CrowdStrike, we don't have the numbers yet. I expect CrowdStrike to have good numbers. I don't know if the stock's going to really make a move. Remember, CrowdStrike is, outside of Palantir, the most expensive software name. It's already up 50, but wow, I didn't even know it was up 48.7% this year. So this one's going to need a really big quarter for the street to keep giving it some love. Pure Storage, again, they got a beat on EPS or beat on revenue in line with EPS. Okta also had a double beat. Street didn't care too much. Pure Storage, they didn't miss or anything, but the street got upset. Asana, wow, they beat by 17% on EPS, 7 cents versus 6 cents expected. 201 versus 198, beat by 1%. EPS is up 450% year over year. Revenue's up 9% year over year. And it looks like that is enough for the street to get excited. Let's get some coverage on Marvell. And then we will see if we can get these CrowdStrike numbers.
I'd say beat, but not a massive beat. Yeah, earnings per share of 76 cents, 3 cents higher than what the street anticipated. This is for Q3. Q3 revenues coming in at 2.08, just slightly higher. For Q4 revenue guidance, 2.2 billion, also a little bit higher than the 2.17 billion. Data center revenue, that contributes a lot to their bottom line. Data center revenue came in at 1.52 billion for the quarter, which was also just slightly higher than street estimates. The company also, for gross margins, a little bit higher, but not by much, 59.7 for Q3, 59% for Q4. They are announcing, though, in their press release that they are excited to announce the acquisition of Celestial AI. This was a rumor from the information earlier today, but now they're confirming that it's going to help with their the fastest growing opportunities in AI data center infrastructure. So they're confirming that. So that could possibly be contributing to the negative reaction in the stock and the fact that the beat was not that big.
Okay. Spending some money.
All All right, so CrowdStrike's left. CrowdStrike and American Eagle. I'm going to do a new poll in the chat. CrowdStrike pump or dump. I think we have either literally no time until those earnings come out, or they're a 4:15 company, and that means we have 5 minutes. So let's put that in the chat. The majority think CrowdStrike will outperform the names that we have here. Crowd, pump, or dump. I owned CrowdStrike for a little bit at 300 and then sold it, I think at like 340. It wasn't a big stake, but I bought it after it fell from 350 during the whole outage that they had back in 2024. Honestly, should have taken that opportunity to really buy more because this is a premier cybersecurity name, but just didn't do it. CrowdStrike right there. All right, down 1.4% after hours. I wouldn't say that's a dump yet. We got to see if that really gets hit. Could still reverse. Earnings 1.23 billion versus 1.21. That's a beat. EPS 96 cents versus 94 cents. That's a beat. You got a double beat. Revenue 1.29 to 1.3 for Q4. That is a beat against the expectations, a very slight beat against the 1.29 expectation. And then fiscal year revenue 4.8 to 4.81. That is a beat. Well, not really, because originally the street thought it would be 4.75 to 4.81. So they increased the low end of their guidance, didn't increase the high end. Not something the stock should be dumping off by any sense of the imagination, but maybe not something that deserves a massive move higher. Pretty much in line. Even the beats were like by a couple cents. So it would not shock me if this goes up, but it also would not shock me if it kind of just stays flat right here. Now you're getting a reversal up 1%. It was down 2%. Trying to make a bit of a move right here. 1.25, 1.32. All right, it's trying. The red candle didn't make that much sense, so it's reversing. Question is, how big do we get a reversal for? Pure Story, by the way, was down 18. Now it's only down 10. Marvell is down 7. This one just was down 2. Now it's collapsing. GitLab's down 7. American Eagle 15. Whoa. Sydney Sweeney came through. Let's get some coverage on that one. Again, these retailer name folks, I really do think we got to pay attention to this consumer weak narrative, because these retailer companies are just showing the opposite with their earnings.
Yeah, so American Eagle reporting Q3 earnings of 53 cents per share. That's on revenue of 1.36 billion, beating expectations on both the top and bottom lines. For the holiday quarter, American Eagle is expecting comps to grow between 8 and 9%. Now, that's about 4 times higher than expectations, so that's pretty big here. American Eagle also raised...
They raised expectations by 400%, and they beat EPS by 20%. I mean, look, Sydney Sweeney is probably helping, but outside of just Sydney Sweeney, there's something about the consumer that has enough disposable income or has access to a lot of credit to be able to buy overpriced jeans. But these companies are putting up the earnings. And it was Urban Outfitters last week, now American Eagles.
Raise its full year adjusted operating income guidance. It's now expecting it to be between 303 million and 308 million. Company-wide, the results look solid, but the growth was primarily driven by Aerie. At American Eagle's namesake banner, comps grew just 1%, while analysts were looking for 2.1%. That's after its splashy campaign with Sydney Sweeney. While the campaign didn't have a major impact on sales, operating margin did come in better than expected at 8.3%. John?
How is that possible with all of those jeans? Gabrielle, thank you. Well, coming up, Michael.
I mean, that's pretty incredible. American Eagle, Best Buy, Burlington, Abercrombie. Look at that, 13% on the day. And that's not just off hype. That's off increasing fiscal year guidance by 4x and beating EPS by 20%. That's pretty incredible. Marvell still down 7%. CrowdStrike barely holding on. You do have some guidance. CrowdStrike confident in delivering 20% net new ARR growth for 2027. Which is increasing the expectation from 2026. ARR, if you listen to George Kurtz, that is the number one thing he cares about as a CEO, is how much more annual recurring revenue they can bring to the business. That's why all of their press releases kind of start off with that metric. As you can see right here, record Q3 net ARR of 265 million. That's up 73% year over year. Overall ARR at 4.92 billion, up 23% year over year. CEO said, Crowdstrike is the enabler of secure AI transformation with the right architecture, the right products, and the right execution. Q3 was one of our best quarters in company history. We achieved record Q3 net new ARR of $265 million, which accelerated 23% year over year. Our single platform strategy, coupled with the Falcon Flex subscription model, unlocks consolidation, positioning Crowdstrike as the operating system of cybersecurity. We delivered an acceleration in ending ARR growth across our endpoint business as well as in cloud security. The CFO said we delivered outstanding third quarter results, exceeding expectations across all guided metrics. Total revenue is up 22% year over year. Not bad. And they've got $5 billion in cash. So you got CrowdStrike. Even though the stock's not moving, you do have some pretty decent earnings. And, you know, if you bought it early in the year, you're up 50%. So can't be too upset. Marvell, still trying to understand why exactly. I know that operating margin on the fiscal year 2026 guidance was a little bit lower than expected, but still that one down 6%. Pure Storage down 10%. And American Eagle is not stopping. It's up 15%. 15% on the day. Why are the neoclouds down so much? Honestly, I do not know. I understand why IREN is down, but I do not know why all of them dumped. But again, I said this in the beginning, like if you own these names, you just got to be ready for the volatility. They are, any bad data center headline can take all of them. Any bad NVIDIA headline can take them down. Any amazing NVIDIA headline can send them to the moon. And so I really don't have a headline for why it would be down. NVIDIA said some pretty bullish stuff at their UBS conference, but nonetheless, they took a hit. CoreWeave down a little bit more after hours. S&P 500 basically flat at 681.69. I mean, it could be IREN, but IREN was red in the morning and NBIS was up. So I don't know, maybe IREN falling even further took everything down, but it might be because of that. Okay, is that all we got? I think those are most of the earnings. I don't see anything else. Let's just listen to Michael Dell real quick. He did invest $6.25 billion for this Invest America. He was with Trump. That was the 2 p.m. announcement for those that missed Trump's big announcement. And then in a couple minutes, we will get Jason on and we will get started with Technical Tuesday.
I think over time, this can become quite substantial. And, you know, we're particularly excited about the long-term impact of this. When you think about compounding and, you know, think about a child that's born, you know, this year, gets $1,000 from the government. Let's say they work at a company that matches that. Well, it's $2,000. Now, you know, if the parents or grandparent or a cousin contributes a little bit to that account each month or each year, you compound that over time. By the time the child is 20 or 30 years old, it adds up to be substantial amounts of money. And, you know, when I was 8 years old, I got a passbook savings account and I kind of learned about the power of compounding. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of people that are not participating in the system today. And so we hope that this will create great interest in understanding compounding and financial literacy and investing in the market. All of these funds, by the way, will go in a large index fund, essentially the S&P 500. You know, and I mean,
it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, and hopefully this influences a lot of other people to put money into this type of initiative. I think a lot of people that have substantial amounts of wealth sometimes don't want to put money to causes because they're putting money into a nonprofit. The director of the nonprofit gets a $500,000 salary and you just feel like the money's getting wasted. I mean, unless I'm getting this wrong, I don't understand how this money could possibly be wasted, because every last penny of it is not going through some bureaucratic process. It's going directly into 25 million accounts, $250 each, that over the next 30, 40 years should be able to compound. And hopefully that's what creates some more momentum. Someone said we have Macy's earnings tomorrow morning. It's funny you bring that up because I took a screenshot of this just to show you guys, because I couldn't believe that I got this notification from Macy's. But yes, we do have Macy's earnings tomorrow. This is at 2:24 earlier today. Psst, Amit, saw these women's clothing finds and thought of you. Like, what AI is running Macy's? Because last time I checked, I'm not a woman. So, I mean, honestly, I hope that freaking stock falls 50% tomorrow, because I was looking at this notification like, why would I care about that? Like, did you get hooked up with an LLM that doesn't know anything? Like, what's going on here? So, yeah, bearish Macy's, and we'll see tomorrow what earnings they put up. All right, so last look at some of these earnings after the bell, and then we'll get into Jason. Pure Storage, that's down 12%. Marvell down 6%. GitLab down 9.5%. Asana's up 4%. It was up 7%. Crowdstrike is not able to hold on to its green. That one continues to go down. Tanner says you fit in women's sizes. They just have your back. That's ridiculous. American Eagle, that's up 15%. And then Okta, that's down 2.8%. So American Eagle, Sydney Sweeney is the only one that was actually able to put up the results that the street liked. Everything else, all these other companies, these multi-billion-dollar software names, they could not mess with Sydney Sweeney. That stock, American Eagle, up 14.5%. All right, folks, it is Tuesday. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Those were the earnings updates. We are going to get into a bunch of technical analysis for those that aren't familiar with TA. It's essentially looking at charts and trying to make predictions based on a variety of different variables on how a stock will perform. Based on looking on the charts, not everyone's cup of tea. So if it's not your cup of tea, that's okay. But there's someone who I deeply respect who understands TA. And he happens to be the Asian version of Steve. It is time to roll the intro. What's up?
It's Jason. What's up?
No, you're Asian Steve. What do you mean? Asian Steve. What are you talking about?
Asian Steve in the house. Should I change it?
Dude,
Who's
people
Jason?
legit forget your name is Jason. They say, like, where's Asian Steve? So, see, you got to embrace it. That's who you are.
You know, we can embrace it. We can embrace it. Here, we'll do this.
Yeah, you got to change your entire name.
Asian Steve. Boom.
You guys know, Steve, I was about to call you Steve. Jason made that intro, by the way. Everyone who loves that intro, Jason literally designed. It's a phenomenal intro. It's a little bit better.
Amit was actually really concerned. The first time I sent it to him, I was like, hey, we have like a tape you can roll for as an intro. And he's like, no, we can't do, what was it? The copyrighted music. And I was like, no. We have like people that like check for that stuff. And it's like, we'll be good. We'll be good.
It was the best decision.
It's the best decision ever.
All right, let's get into it.
We almost didn't get that.
We almost didn't get it. We got a lot to talk about. We last talked on Tuesday when the markets were starting to recover from some of the November downside. Now, that was on low volume as we were getting into Thanksgiving. So you can pull up the S&P. 683, less than 1% away from all-time highs. I mean, it really does feel like there is a shot if we get this rate cut for some momentum to occur. So I guess, what are you thinking? How are you seeing the S&P 500 now?
So it is. So I got a lot of lines here. Should I start?
Yeah.
So we have a timer. First of all, and I've been posting at least just general updates. And I know Amit does this. By the way, did you guys see the thumbnail that he almost used? He thought about it. I don't know how long he thought about the thumbnail, but he spent all this time putting together this thumbnail. It was very, very thoughtful.
Did you post it? Because I thought you were going to post it.
What do you mean?
The thumbnail. Because
he was going to do the thumbnail. This was going to be the new show. What do you guys think?
Dude, hold on. This should be the thumbnail. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
22 minutes ago, I was live, so I didn't even think of it. This should legit every Tuesday. This is.
Well, this is it's Christmas themed.
Why did the AI make me so mad though?
I don't know. You're so serious, man. So serious. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Did you donate today? Also, so we're just catching up. But I did. I post. It's Giving Tuesday. This is we donate to Scout troops every now and then. This is my picture of me as a Boy Scout back in the. That's legit me. Back in the 90s.
I'll put that.
But if you guys need some tax deductible gains, for sure. Actually, you can click this little link. I just pinned it. But anyways, moving on.
I'll put the link in the chat. I cannot believe that's you, dude. That's wild.
Yeah, this is 90s, man. Well, I'm an 80s baby.
How old were you? Were like what, 10, 12?
No, I'm how old am I here? This is probably 15.
Okay.
So maybe like late 90s. I was a boy. Look at the Boy Scouts. Hey, and if you guys have Boy Scout pictures, like reply in there, because like all the Boy Scout pictures of everybody, like this is pretty badass. Sorry, but this is pretty cool to see everybody's like memories coming up of like way back when. Like it's way cool. But anyways, yeah, good times, man.
That's awesome.
But so let's get on with the show, if you will. You know how quickly we forget where we just were, like not even that long ago. It blows my mind. Oh yeah, just Scouts now. Sorry. It blows my mind how like we were just down here at these lows. Literally, like
I was not a Girl Scout. Stop saying that.
Well, Girl Scouts are cool too. And here we are, 5% in 11 days. In the last couple of days, we haven't actually gone anywhere. And so that has me a little bit, I think so the market goes 3 directions. They go up, they go down, and markets go sideways also. Right now, I will say this is one of those sideways moments. The last few days, at least, few as in 2 or 3 days. And so I think, so we are gearing up for another move. In what direction? That direction is TBD. And amidst what do you call that? Like the preface of the segment, if you will, is it's not, what did you call it when you first met me? Astronomy, like male astrology.
I didn't say that, but other people say that often.
Okay, well you said it. But
I repeated it. But I think it's useful, but you know, that's what people say.
To those people's credit, it's kind of like being a weatherman sometimes. And I saw a comment and some things like, I can say like, hey, look, it's cloudy outside and it might rain. And sometimes it might rain the next day. Sometimes it might rain right away. Sometimes it might rain a little bit, later on. But if there's storms brewing, then there's storms brewing. Whether or not they hit you right smack in the face right away, that's kind of actually pretty legit in terms of an analogy. So meteorology, I guess you could call it that. But it's good to know what the weather's going to be like if I'm going to go out. Do I want to wear a sweater? Or do I want to wear shorts today or what? Right. So anyways, it's something like that. So right now we're very close. For a while, when the government was shut down, the market has been and still is using ADP numbers in the absence, if you will, of NFP numbers. Now, we did get NFP numbers just recently, and the last time we were here, I said, look, we should actually make it up to 675, and if we can get a couple closes above 675, which we have, then we should be good. So we got 1 open and close, right? So this is 1. We got 2, and actually we got 3. So 1, 2, 3 closes above NFP, like this 675. And so this looks good. The only issue I have right now is that the next level, and this is the way that this works, is that if we get there, then we go to the next level. Well, the next level, we're already there. We hit it like right away. It's 681. So we have to do this process one more time. And we have not actually been able to do it. So 681 in my post has actually been a pretty big level. And if we can't hold, well, cool, then we'll just retest this 675 and see if it holds here. And then we can have this kind of situation. That would be ideal. So where we are right now, it's a high risk area to press new money long. Long way to say that. Because your risk reward is not nearly as good as it was down here, not nearly as good. And we have a lot of traffic above us.
And down there was just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and down here was just 2 weeks ago. This is a better spot to do a light hedge in terms of not wanting to sell a whole lot of upside calls, but I don't mind buying cheap downside insurance. Actually, I don't mind that. And this red line here is the prevailing downtrend, if you will. So in terms of our trend count from a market perspective, trend count meaning series of higher highs and higher lows. This was our last high. This was our last low. we locked in a lower high. We actually locked in a lower low, lower high, lower low. You can kind of finagle it however you want. But if we can get over 685.88, which was pretty much our last high right around here, then, and we're very close to it, then we should definitively, at least now we're looking at 700s. And that is how we get to those 700s. And at that point, it's basically a foregone conclusion, which I said exactly that last week. I'm saying that exactly that one more time, but it's better to be patient. Patience pays in this situation. What's a couple points on the S&P from here to be able to not press a riskier bet, because we are in fact at a high traffic area right here, and a pullback to retest some of these areas and where these magnet SMAs are. Look, that's actually even a little bit better discount area. Is there anything that's telling me that that's going to happen right now? No, that's also true. But it is just a high traffic, higher risk area for a new money long. Stay the course long. Small little hedges are fine. Hopefully they go to zero, but there's no reason to take any large downside bets. There's no reason to sell anything here. I'm staying the course. I'm long. I'm cautiously optimistic, slightly more optimistic than cautious.
And I think what you said at 650 on Tuesday 2 weeks ago was there was also no reason to sell there or panic sell.
No. I mean, quite frankly, I'm in the position right now where I'm like, I'm kind of drooling for another dip buy. I would love, I don't know about you guys, but I would love me another nice little dip buy to really get situated here. I do think it's a decent place to have some cash, but I can press upside bets if we do get higher. And again, if I get a lower entry, it's even better. Now, we don't usually do the Qs, but I just pulled this up. I clicked the timer one more time. QQQ does the same kind of thing. Oops, I don't have an NFP level. Sorry. Here, what I'm looking for, we want to see an even trend across the indices, across the whole. And so ADP levels remain on the Qs. Unlike SPY, QQQ has not hit it all the way, has not gone and traversed the entire way. So Qs are actually lagging just a little bit. I have a small session gap around 630 here, but remember these SMAs act like magnets. So we were far away, far from the smoothing moving averages. Got the polarity kind of pulled us up. If we go a little too far, I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised to see that magnet pull us back and get stuck here for a little bit to make another move in one direction or another. I'm open to this as an opportunity to see where we go from there. Am I really trading for this? Absolutely not. I think this was an amazing dip buy across the board for a lot of assets. So congrats to anybody who was able to take advantage of that. And I think we've had a great bounce, and now we kind of look for the next opportunity. And so Qs has more catch up room, which makes this a little bit more interesting here. So if this can hold this trend count, right? Again, here's that last lower high right over here at that 626. If it can get through this area, this will be the same kind of thing. And one thing I'll tell you guys that I haven't said anywhere, not even to my private group yet, even if we get there, I think you can press these bets. But if we look back in history, we had a very similar situation right over here. This is SPY now, where very similar. I just don't want to completely let my guard go in its entirety. I'll just drop this to a daily. And we're not in this fundamental situation at all. But all this to say, there's not going to be even if we do get to all-time highs, there's still not going to be a situation where I'm completely like off, like where I'm turning my back to the bears. Like I'm a trader, so I will always want to be on guard to an extent. And this should look very familiar to you guys right now, where all of the indices, the Qs the same, losing all major significant moving averages. Then we start to go up. We actually got 2 new all-time highs. This is 2025. And chopped around for a while, went sideways for a while, made new all-time highs, hung out. And I don't remember what happened. Maybe Amit remembers what happened. But at a certain point, we couldn't really hold over those all-time highs. And that polarity of those SMAs eventually actually did bring it down a little bit. So even if we do get to all-time highs, I'm not going to rest on my laurels, if you will, at that area. I wanna still be somewhat on guard at this level, because I don't want to get faked out either. So it's important to kind of be attentive to what's going on in sentiment and under the hood as well. DeepSeek, got it. Yeah, which came out of what? Nowhere. Sentiment. Sentiment is a killer sometimes. And it just,
So speaking of DeepSeek, let's just do NVIDIA as the first stock. I mean, the price action on this one has been kind of weird to me. I wonder how you're thinking about this holding 180.
So I thought it would go down a little bit deeper. I mean, it did retest this lower end. I think it could be good. I think it could be okay, but it's a similar situation where, like, if this can't get through this major traffic zone here right now, this is and has been resistance in the past. So for all intents and purposes, I actually have to assume that this is resistance. It looks constructive, but new money long here as a trader, this is the definition of high risk, low reward. Down here, it's better. So we like to buy at support. We don't like to buy at resistance as a trader, typically speaking. I mean, it's just a good rule of thumb to operate by, to buy at support, not buy at resistance in general for life. But we're so used to breakout markets. I saw this one coming here. It didn't really get through that. I needed to get over 200. This is actually a good defensive hold right here. So I think that this has a strong possibility of being it right now. And if it can get a little bit higher and get through this resistance zone, then I think at that point, it's a lower risk situation to go along higher, which sounds weird. But again, I want to get through this traffic area first. And then I want to see this current resistance turn into support. And in that situation, I would be buying at support and not at resistance, which is what that means. But, this looks good. If it doesn't hold, I mean, there's some lower levels, but this is holding for now. NVIDIA's acting kind of weird. Like, it's almost like, I think it's dumb. Like, this is just dumb, like how it gets sold off. I'm correct. Yeah. I mean, if you guys have thoughts on this or not, how NVIDIA gets sold off over like ASICs or TPUs or whatever. Next, it'll probably be Amazon's version of whatever, and then somebody else's. But it's almost like the semi sector specifically is, well, not semi, but like that money is rotating like a zero sums game almost, where it's not coming out of the index level, but it's just rotating within the LM players or hyperscalers, if you will. Just getting spread around, which is not really bearish.
Do you have a target for end of year? Could you see this back to 200, or you think that's going to be a little tough?
Again, so I could easily see this back over 200, but TA is if this, then that, right? So if it's over, the levels are here. So this little area right here,
187 roundabout.
Yeah. And it's 184 very explicitly. So we can kind of see it. I'll just turn this red. So see this here, all of this selling. This is August. And again here, and again here. And actually right here, it really kind of jumps out at you where you can start to see it. Oops. You can start to see, like, if I zoom in a little bit more, I don't want to take up too much time. But this is, sorry, July, late July, all of August. That's the orange box here, 184 spot 15. I'll make this a little bit darker for you guys. Here, 184 spot 15. It's pretty apparent on the chart where this was. Is this a market cap level? At what market cap is this?
Well, 123 is 3 trillion. I think it's, guys, 4 trillion is
4.5 maybe.
Yeah, 4 trillion was 164. So yeah, 4 point roundabout.
I mean, sometimes it does this weird stuff, but there's a bit of a explosion here, and this was support here. So it's very minuscule, but you can see where there's a lot of buying and selling that happens right at that exact level. So so if it can turn that current resistance, which is what this is, into support, meaning if it can get over it and hold above it, and then you see something like that, in this case, for sure. Like it's a no-brainer. This is definitively going in short order, by the way. So I just ran out of time to 195, 195. 200 is a very specific round number. It's not usually the best. It's not usually the best thing to use a round number as your target, because they're always gonna shortchange you, man. They'll be like, oh, 198.32, and they rug right before. Case in point right here, 198.60. Boom, 198.77. So if you 198.60. So if you're looking for a very explicit round number, don't. You'll get yourself in trouble. But 195.56 is that spot again. And we have, I would go as far as to say as you are probably, no matter what this chart says right now, something here on this chart tells me that at some point in time in the not so distant future, there's probably going to be a headline. I don't know what it is, but in the not so distant future, high probability that NVIDIA does make this trek, no matter what this says. I'm just telling you right now, because there is an extremely low liquidity pocket right in here. That's a hard imbalance in the market from that earnings move, and that probably gets filled in, whether it's on a random headline or not. I don't know, probably a random headline, but just like it did over here, the question's going to be, at that point in time, does it hold?
Right.
And my gut is that no, it won't hold.
And it also maybe depends on how good the headline's going to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Sentiment.
Guys, we're going to do all the main stocks, so about 10, 15 of them, and then we will get into the audience requests. Next one, another big one a lot of people are curious about, is Meta.
That's not the right ticker.
Meta.
You can put an A. Meta. No. And whoa. You ever put the wrong ticker sometimes and you come into
yeah. What is it? METE? What is that?
Yeah.
So 585 to 6.
This is the secret how you find really good tickers, by the way.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, this is a nice reversal. A lot of people getting excited about it. I wonder if you have a contrarian opinion here, or you think this one's doing
no. So this white line is Chris's trade. Shout out Chris, wherever he is, if he's in here. Is Chris here? I don't know.
He's probably not, but he's probably happy that Meta is going higher.
So what we need to see is we needed to see it hold over that 634 level, and so far it actually it is. Just like we wanted to see this base get created over here. That's good. At this point, what's happening is that your 20-day SMA is leveling out, if you will. I made a snarky comment the other day. It was like, when I get a death cross on Meta, it'll probably be a buy. If we get a little bit of a blip down on Meta, that 50-day, which is the blue line here, is probably going to cross down below. What is this? It's probably going to cross down below the 200, and it'll be a death cross, and it will probably be a buy. So if I get that dip, I'll probably buy again. And definitely if it holds that 634 630-ish level. But so far, this looks constructive. This was a very like heavy bounce. So I think we're looking more like the K style recovery than like the straight up V. But the trajectory here is to 688.60. And that is what it is. So 688.60, as long as we hold 633, you're going there. That's the trajectory, which is gonna line up to that 50-day and the 20-day and the 200, and that's gonna be resistance for now. That's where the bears are hibernating from all of this. And depending on how long it takes to get there, I don't know that the bears are really gonna be hanging out that much anymore, because they had a pretty good ride already at this point. And they pretty much disappeared down towards the lows over here. And I don't know if you're a bear, like you'd have to be a real greedy bear to be hanging out still on Meta.
Also, Meta's not going to 500 without the market going down. I mean, Meta's a pretty big company, right? Like,
well, okay, so Meta has done stuff like that in the past. It really has.
No, but when it went to 88 in 2020, I mean, that was the market crap, right? Like, when has Meta independently gone down meaningfully if the market hasn't? I mean, I'm sure it has.
I mean, Meta did that well before the market, to be fair.
No, 88 was the bottom in October. Market bottomed in October.
Yeah, but that's over here. But Meta was 400 almost before then, in January or in August.
You know, like everything fell into it. Like I don't recall a situation where Meta has actually fallen significantly and the S&P 500 hasn't, given Meta is like what, 2% of the S&P 500?
Yeah, I mean, so it's just historically super whipsaw. So even over here in this area, these are very large swings, like from here to here. That's actually 50%. And at the same time, from here to here, this is 220 to 122. That's 45%. In 2018, I don't know if that's COVID or not, but it likes to do some wild stuff. And then this is the metaverse, and this is the year of efficiency, if you will.
Can you also
just kind of leveling out.
Can you explain the death cross? You were talking about, some people have questions on what exactly is it?
It's like the most lagging indicator that you should like throw directly in the garbage. It's
50 and the 200-day converge, correct?
Correct. So like all drawings off. So on my screen right now, you see 3 lines. The red line is a 200-day simple moving average. The white line is a 20-day simple moving average. And the blue line is a 50-day simple moving average. And just to make this cleaner, I'll remove the 20. A death cross is defined by when the 50-day crosses below the 200-day simple moving average. And right here is an example of a death cross. But what happened? So when I say insanely lagging indicator, like, first of all, it started going down here. The death cross happened here, and the stock did nothing but go up from here. So no, this is a very lagging indicator. Crosses in terms of simple moving averages were never really intended to be used for these, like, okay, so crosses on SMAs and stuff were an adaptation from stochastics, which were started being used really in like 1950s. SMAs were being used since like 1800s plus, and nobody used crosses as trading signals until stochastics came, and they just adapted into it, but it wasn't what they were intended to be used for. They're super lagging, and maybe this is a bad example, but how I've taught you guys to use them and how we've talked about it is the correct way. And yeah, so again, another death cross here, followed immediately by what's called a golden cross, which is the 50. Sorry, let me take the purple is a 200 week, followed immediately by a golden cross, which is the blue line crossing above the red line. But again, if you short at the death cross, at least for Meta here, you maybe got a handful of days that went red, but immediately followed by nothing but up and to the right after that. So just be aware, this is an incredibly lagging indicator. And a lot of times they'll use it on SPY, which here, this is a death cross to the downside on SPY 2022. It's okay. But again, the day that it crossed is here. Immediately the thing went straight up, right into your face, and eventually ended up going down. But it's lagging, and this is a golden cross here. It's just it's a lagging thing, meaning it's going to tell you something that happened way after the fact. Here, death cross. Here, death cross. Not ultra reliable. Here, death cross. Usually,
let me ask this question as well before we move on to the next one. Why do you use SMAs and not EMAs?
So I use SMAs for these longer time frames because they show you the broader trend and they help filter out a lot of noise. I'm not on the timer, right? Can we call this? We can call this technical Tuesday training, but two different things. So when we're looking at trends, you want to use SMAs, and EMAs are like SMAs versus EMAs are like tortoise versus the hare. They have different use cases. SMAs are to filter out a lot of the sharp noises, things like that. The idea behind EMAs, which are exponential moving averages versus simple moving averages, that's what the S stands for. I show you the broader, slower moving trends, right? And we look at the slope of the line. We look at the distance between these lines, things like that. EMAs are made for quicker reaction time, which when we're talking about broad trends, you don't want to be super fast. You're going to be too quick and too in and out. The use case for EMAs is more specifically for day trading or for shorter time frame trading, shorter time horizons. If you have a shorter time horizon, there's a very good use case to use something like a 9 and 21 EMA for a day trading system. But for broader trend reads and general momentum, 20-day, 50-day, 200-day simple moving averages, that's what you want to do. Not the EMAs, not 365-day EMA, not the 65-day EMA, not this, that, not the 100-day, not the 150-day SMA. Like, it's these three specific SMAs for a very simple reason, and that is that the large institutional funds use these as their broader indications of whether or not this trend is intact. And if I'm smart, I want to know what the big money is thinking and what they're looking at to make their larger determinations. And that is why you do want to do it, because if technical analysis is largely a self-fulfilling prophecy, I want to know what the most amount of people are really using. And I don't want to use some obscure random SMA or EMA to do that. I want to use the tools that the most amount of people have their eyes on, and that is the 20-day, the 50-day, and the 200-day SMA. So hopefully that sums it all up.
Great. And it's important we have moments like that throughout the segment, because that stuff definitely is helpful. Tessie, you think this one has a shot to get to 460 by end of year?
Oh my goodness, she's trying so hard, dude. She's trying. Again, what do we look for on these SMA? We look for them really tight, and then when they're about to expand together, that's your cue. So Tessie, lines back on. Right back into resistance. She's trapped. So if they're magnets, they're not dynamic support and resistance. We don't use them for that. She's stuck. There's a term called like moving average ping pong, where you just like ping pong in between these like whatever moving averages. That's literally ping pong, ping pong, ping pong in between these. Boom, 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 boom. Oh man, is she stuck? She got me today. I'm not going to lie. She got me. I was like, all right, 50, we're coming down. We're going to breach this, and she's going to come back in, because 420, by the way, is broader resistance up here, high traffic zone, right? And that's what I'm thinking. But it's a squeeze. We call it squeeze area too. We're like, if it gets over, like this is heavy resistance. I don't think you're going to break through resistance, not in the market at the moment. There's no reason, no catalyst, no none of that. So I should expect this to come down, and then it just like boom, gets sucked right back into the 50 and actually breaches it again. I'm like, oh my goodness, what was today's range? It was like 415 to 430 something. Dude, what a whipsaw day on Tessie. But she's trying. I think what I've been saying on Tesla holds true, is that she's stuck. And that's the truth. So nothing has changed on Tesla, the chart. I think that this still remains to be your entire consolidation range. That could be. I think she's primed for people that are into selling premium. I think this is a great spot for Tesla. I think if you sell premium around this general area, or if you want to be like a little bit safer in this area, but I think in this general area, premium generation Tesla all day long. I don't mean yield max. I don't mean yield max. I mean selling your own cover calls weekly, that kind of stuff. Not something with a deteriorating NAV by design. That's different. Unless you're hopping from dividend to dividend, which is like, I think, buy on Wednesday. Buy on Tuesday, you'd have to buy today at the close if you're doing yield max.
Google, do you think this one can hold 300 till the end of the year? Because I think a lot of the questions I'm getting on this one is there's either a breakout to 335 or there's a retrace back to the 290s.
She's trying so hard. I mean, you're on it, right? So when we're locked over here, first of all, Google has like kind of defied a lot of stuff in terms of general rule sets with headlines, new headline. And it's been pretty stuck on that. Around this area, I actually said Google was in premium generation mode, similar to Tesla, and like selling upside calls around like 320, 310 area, about 45 days to expiration would technically be ideal because at the time it had not broken out. It had tried to get over that earnings gap, and it did not. And then this day at 300, headline breaks. I'm thinking this is fine. Headline breaks, and then poof, she goes, actually, I'm going to keep that stance. And I still think that 320, 310 cover call, I'm not touching that. I actually don't think this is ready to go. I think that you have this, what we call like pretty clean inefficiency here that the market wants to fill around 302. To your question, do I think it holds 300? I do. Do I think that it can have a little dip into that sub 300 for a blip that gets bought? Very possible. At that point, I would absolutely buy back those cover calls. But that is the worst case I would see on Legoogs right now. She is holding up incredibly strong. I keep waiting for this thing to fall. 318 here was the first 330 was the first. Okay, you're fully extended. If 314 is the level, and it was teetering today, below 314, all right, this is very likely happening. And so tomorrow this actually becomes an extremely high watch for that 300 level being tested in very short order after today. If this doesn't get back over 319. So if Google can get over 319, it's going to continue and try to do this, and it's probably going to try to do another consolidation, and that pullback is probably just not happening, and we're probably going into that 345 level next. But right here, right now, Googs loses 314 in very short order, probably single session. You're probably going to fill this gap, which is likely going to be a buy somewhere in this area.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. If the Googs actually gets to 285, 295, people are buying.
It's a buy. That's the thing. It's a buy. So broadly speaking, there's nothing wrong with this chart. It's extended, yes. It's very far away from those SMAs, yes. Steep and uncorrected, steep. But in truth, it actually has some pretty like decent areas of consolidation right now. Even like my Netflix, you know, you look, zoom out, look left, it's got a lot of this, so it can still go. But remember, we look at these SMAs like the broader trend. This is crazy healthy. I mean, it's very wide, like the distance between these SMAs, but even up here between the 2050, it's just getting wider. So a pullback like this, I mean, it's not going to do anything to the trend. And it probably does get bought up, quite frankly. So yeah, I think it holds. And I still think the premiums on this are juicy now. Like they're very ripe for harvesting.
Premiums were dead at 150, and now they are coming
Yeah,
down.
this and Apple too now. Like, I don't know if you've seen Apple. This thing's all-time highs. Like, just throw the chart up here. Like, my goodness. Oops. We're I don't know. This thing is like, it's the two dip buys down here on the two nearly most hated stocks that we were trading not that long in July, you and I. And I was like, all right, the $1 million month. Do you remember this $1 million month that we were trading for? It was the high value to my high value targets, Google and Apple, similar setups. Here we are. And I'm like, I mean, both of them are similar setups, different reasons, both steep and uncorrected still, but nothing wrong with either of these charts yet. I will say that when these two, I'm going to call them the last generals, fall, I put a post out there. Apple tends to get detached very, very typically. So we'll call this the Apple transition. Apple tends to detach itself from the market in times like this. And when it does, it will just continue on. And that's exactly what Google's doing right now. It's in moments of like general volatility, things like that. And it does its own thing. Eventually it does come back down to earth. And when it does, well, that tends to be, number one, it tends to be a buy anyways. And number two, it's usually the last, they're just the last generals to fall. So when that does happen, it's all probably over and everything's already up and to the right.
Right.
And it's only like a factor of, well, these are just no longer on sale and everything else was on sale. So I'm just going to use these as an ATM for a short while. And then I'm going to come right back to them.
Right. By the way, Marvell making a move after hours up 5%. Either they started the earnings and said something about their acquisition, or
let's go.
This thing was down almost 10%, full reversal to the upside. Still going.
Dude, I'm smiling.
You want to do so? You want to do this one real quick?
My Marvell?
Yeah. Oh, you like this one, right? You've liked this one for a while.
Yeah, dude. But I've always said this has got to be you got to love this one long time, not short time. Like, because the turnaround story here is long time, not a little time. So it's Liberation Day lows tested multiple times, 73, even recently. Structure is intact, had a little blip in the radar here to 62. This entire thing is nothing but a series of higher highs and higher lows, actually, all of this. So the channel is here. And wow, if this can hold 100 tomorrow, I don't know what they're saying, dude, but this is looking like a bigger move. And if this can hold that 100 level, I mean, it's 110 is what it is and has always been. So it just so happens to be happening during earnings, which is sometimes how it goes. But from the swing, like inception highs of 127 to recent lows, let's say 44, that 50% mark, and we've done this exercise many times, is 86. If she bounces at 86, the rule set says that we should go here. And we've done that already multiple times. 1, 2, 3 times, give or take. Now, if you cannot actually hold this, here's the concern, right? That concern just kind of takes you back down to this prevailing uptrend, though, not anything major. Prevailing uptrend being here. We'll call this green. If I really wanted to get in the weeds with it, see if I can stick this landing. So that would be 77s again. But for all intents and purposes, no, it looks good. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drop down on how we would get like super granular with it, is just do similar exercise. I know what I'm going to do right now. So similar exercise here.
Looks like I'm looking at a rainbow, bro.
Yeah, 93 is key. And this is going to be just like we did with NVIDIA. So we have a little bit of an after hours on a prior pump. So Marvell is very pumpy and very dumpy, I will say. It's very illiquid after hours. It's nothing but lies and deceit for us in the aftermarket, not the pre-market, different. This can get to 101.91 and mean nothing. This is what's true and unfortunate. It can get to 101.91 and open up here just like it has in the past on Thursday, November 6th, and never see the light of day in the New York session at these levels. So caution, I'm not saying to sell, but we don't want to see it do this in the pre-market. This is why after hours don't count, but pre-market does. So how this opens and how this acts in the morning is more important than what's happening right now. This is pre-market. That is not what I want to see tomorrow. And I don't want to see it stop hard dead in its tracks at 101.91.
Wow, triple digits after hours.
Yeah, which it hasn't gotten to yet. So,
dude, the stock market is so cool. Like literally at freaking 425, everyone was upset. If you were short, you were happy. If you bought the dip, you were like, screw it, we'll see what happens. And then less than an hour later.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah. So all of this, I mean, that's a wild swing. Geez, just after hours. Look at this.
What did they say? Does anyone know what they said?
17% after hours that's a wild swing. So this is a big turnaround story. I don't think you own Marvell for a 17%. I mean, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But here's what you own Marvell for. You own it for the full gamut to 170 multi-years out. And you own it for like a big, you don't want it caught in like a double top or anything, but you own it for a big multi-year reversal into these 170s.
People are saying it's pumping on the acquisition but the acquisition was announced in the morning. So it is kind of weird that maybe they gave some more details on the acquisition. But Celestial AI will contribute $1 billion in revenue. Really? They're buying it for 3.5. So they're paying 3 times sales, which is not that crazy. During the conference call, Marvell Technology says any revenue from the pending acquisition of Celestial AI and for our communications and other end market, we continue to expect 10% revenue growth next year. Yeah, that'll do it. Increasing growth on the acquisition.
So this is the last traffic zone. So moving forward, let's assume Marvell. Let's just play the tape forward. If Marvell can be really bullish and we get to hold through 110, which would be amazing. We have this little blip up here, and this is real life. So if you don't mind, because I own the stock, I'm gonna look at this area from here, 122, 110 to 122. So this is what I'm going to assume is the next traffic zone or area of congestion, if you will. It's like if the car is priced and I'm leaving what the market deemed as fair value down here. We made a little pit stop up here. The next vacation spot is in the 115s. And I'd like it to stay up here for a while and then eventually move on its merry way up to the 170s by, late next year, if not later. But yeah, I don't have any plans on leaving this one. It's a slow roll, quite frankly. It's been choppy, but.
Okay. Amazon.
I didn't buy any more. I like Amazon. Today, AWS keynote, was there anything notable? I didn't listen.
Yeah, basically Trainium 3, more updates on how their chips are becoming more cost effective than NVIDIA. I mean, it was all really good stuff. Nothing I can imagine that's bad.
So maybe Amazon gets they're not going to. Maybe Amazon gets a Google like pump on custom silicon. They really could though, but there's no LLM. Not that it matters, but that's so custom silicon is always like a free call option, if you will, on Amazon right now. It's not baked into the price. And so that's what has not been talked about on this show. It should be somewhat understood that Amazon coming out with their own ASICs, custom silicon, whatever, is a free call option that you get on owning the stock here. It's not priced in. I don't believe it's just, I don't think, could you even consider that priced in even somewhat here? No.
What, Trainium?
Yeah. Like real success of custom silicon.
No, but I think the reason it's not priced in is because we don't know what the margins look like. It's hard to get a margin.
Yeah. So my point is, not unlike prediction markets on Hood.
Yeah.
I'm just saying now that it becomes a successful thing later, and boom, you're off to the races. Today though is typical hit your head on the ceiling, sell the news event, reinvent, and of this last swing high to swing low, this is that first bear zone from a technical perspective. This is the bearish retracement, and I'm a good bull, so I need to know where the bears are at all times. And 237, when Amit and I were buying down here, and we did this on the last Technical Tuesday, which you'll be able to see on the playlist when Amit gets around to doing the things that he says he's going to do, which he did say he would do it, I think.
I definitely forgot to do that.
It's okay. I did say Amazon from 210 should be an easy layup, at least to 235, 236. And that's where I think we should go. Now, this to me, this is the definition of a low risk, high reward setup. Anything from here is not. So from here, this becomes, the higher that this becomes higher risk. Do I think this is over? Not a chance. But what we've done is we've just moved from one area of fair value, which is down here, right, to the upper area right here. And so I think it's fair to assume that we continue to chop a little bit, and we pull a bit of a Tesla, and we could easily pull back to the 228s. I think that should be more than warranted at this point. A little bit of a pullback. And does that have to happen? No, I don't think so. I don't think that has to happen at all. But roughly to that 50-day simple moving average, see a nice little consolidation down in here, and then be on our merry way one more time. That would be amazing. If that doesn't happen, or even if it does, at some point, any point in the future, Amazon gets over 237. All right, well then, boom, we go straight to 243, but not before then. So this is a hard, this becomes a very easy statistical trade, small, albeit $5 poof right through here. And then if Amazon can get over this area, we have another one. And then all of this, I think you have to be patient on Amazon. All of this becomes a giant consolidation. One more, whatever, right? This whole thing. And this is the real setup that you really want to be patient for, because this is not a small one. but this is what it's all about right here into next year, coming into 300 plus, possibly significantly higher.
I was going to ask, is that your kind of 2026 target? If you had to pick right now, 300, you think is on
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, remember, this was actually 2025 300 target, which got derailed by Bezos and wife, which is neither here nor there, but that's what it is.
Okay, I love it. That is Amazon. Let's do Palantir. What are you thinking about this one?
I think I said last time, I think it's got a date with very close to this 180s, and it got nearly there. So solid pickup still at the lows. Did you pick this up? I don't remember if you said you did or didn't.
A very little bit at 153.
Dude, it's amazing to me how you're still buying this stock.
Well, I was buying at 180 before earning. I actually bought a lot before earning. And it ran to 200. I was like, yo. We're going. Too funny. No, but I also knew buying it. I knew averaging up at 180. Like, this is probably an overextended price, but I really did feel we were going to hit 200, and we did.
Yeah.
Then the entire market.
The worst where it's like it never shows up during like real trading. It's like you actually 222, mind you.
I know.
Like all targets achieved, everything, right? This is like gut wrench. But anyways, that's how she goes. But see this is that prevailing downtrend, downward channel. I know there's a lot of lines, but I'll just kind of like fill it in if I'm coloring in the lines. She's out. She's out, my dude, right there. Does that mean that they go up? It doesn't. Common misconception yet again. But what is important in here?
Even if it stabilizes around here, I would be very happy.
Yes, that's what you want to see. Bingo. No. Right. So that is exactly correct. And that is exactly what you do want to see. So here, we're going to reference this area right here. So over 165 holding, very good. This 170 and change level, this is still in play. I'm going to make this white, 173.06. See, so this comes from that 190 area and this giant, I don't remember if it was earnings or what, but exhaustion. And this is still, it actually was and remains, this was resistance for a bit over here. So this was resistance here. And then it was support here. It was still support here. And then it turned into resistance here and is still being resistance right now. Can you guys see that? Yeah. I think you should be able to see that. And so what we want to see is we want to see it at least hug in this area. And my gut here is that this ends up acting like a bit of a magnet. And it's probably, as long as it holds, it can back and fill back. That's just a trading term, like back and fill, back and fill, back and fill. And that's fine. And I want to see this try to bang its head up against this a couple times. I don't want to press this bet, but I want to let that momentum try to build. And if that momentum builds, what this is essentially going to look like is a bit of a consolidation, maybe a little bit of flag. We call it a flag here. And as long as this general trend line holds and these lows end up being higher and higher and higher and higher, then this is going to tell me actually that support is building. So a pullback into that 165, try again until it's really tight like this. And then eventually, boom. And by that time, where's this 20-day SMA going to be? It's going to be right there. This only gets you to about 180, where that 50-day is going to be, just so we're clear. Oops. So this is where that 50-day is going to be, right around here, which is the next, which is also still going to, it's still going to be good. That's still constructive. And then you kind of just make your trajectory back to whence you came. And this is that next traffic zone. And you basically just do it again right over here. And that's how I see it playing out. So far, that's what's happening right now. As long as it doesn't just get absolutely shellacked and lose really that 165. If she loses that 165, then, well, you got to retest that 160 area one more time, or 150 area one more time. But that was a pretty heavy, pretty deep pullback. If you do revisit something like that again, I don't think it'll be as deep, but you could be in this general area around 160, maybe not 140, maybe not 147, but probably around 150s, 157. Maybe not as deep as before. All right, next.
All right, we got like 5 more main ones, and then we will get into the audience requests. Hood.
Dude, what's the best stock in the market right now? That's the question.
It's the #1 S&P 500 performing stock. That's 240%. It's incredible.
Is it Hood though? That's
Hood?
not Hood. Is it?
The #1, it might not be.
No, that's SanDisk or Western Digital, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's top 5, but yeah, it's not.
It's top 5. It's top 5.
You know,
He's #1 in our hearts.
it's #1.
He's not Alvin.
It's #3. SanDisk is 469. Western is 256. Robinhood 238. And then Micron's at 184. Seagate's at 210.
Oh, see, I haven't looked at Seagate in a long time. So these lines are where I was like a month ago. My logic was that Hoodie would do this, and eventually we would get up and out, and we would be looking at 175. What's going on with the screen here?
Oh, there it is.
And when we lost this, we were like, well, that's off the table because TA is very if this then that, and then I texted Amit over here, and I was like, dude, I'm looking at a $20 pullback. I texted him like this day. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm looking at a $20 drop on Hoodie. Why am I looking at a $20 drop? And it only dropped like $7 and it instantly got bought back up. And eventually my $20 drop happened. Thankfully, I got my dip buy and we're back on the mend. But again, we are back on the mend. But look at this. We are right back to a very difficult level. So I don't want to rest on my laurels. I don't want to be the guy that's like blind to everything that's happening here. I am back over the 20-day SMA. I am under the 50. I am retesting the prior broken downtrend or uptrend. So if that was the trend line, that was what I wanted to see happen. Well, I'm testing it from the bottom, from underneath. It's good. It's not quite good enough yet. That is my biggest thing. So here we are on this last, actually, let's just go from here. 127.86. That's the number, 127.86. If this bad boy holds, that's where the bears are living. I mean, they're living right in here, and they give up right here. So right now, they've taken a couple shots at me and my cohorts, and you know what? Fine, they've won a battle or two. But look, we came back with a vengeance. So that's all I know. And I'm really happy about that, dude. That's all I can tell you. But where we are, 1, 2, I think we can test it again. It might even feel really good. I don't think the third one's going to hold. Probably gets a big pullback. If I see sub 120, dude, I feel like I just need to buy this thing. I don't know if you've gone and released your Substack yet. I feel like I need to buy this somewhere in here if I see it again on a pullback, because I would see something like this, and then I'm thinking this bad boy, straight up, and that would be my jam. Right there would be my jam. Is it I don't think there's any chart system that's going to tell you that that's a thing. But
I did not buy at all during this drawdown just because I didn't touch it out, because at the end of the day, I still believe it's incredibly volatile going into next year. But as you said, the prediction market stuff, it's starting to get some of the cyclicality out of there. And then they probably have more products coming next year. So I haven't added yet, but if we see that again, maybe low hundreds you add.
Maybe. Yeah. So I'm just doing a couple things. So one.
By the way, Marvell, 15% after hours.
Oh my God. Nice. All right. So because this dip actually went deeper now, by the way, that 175 changes also. So that 175 goes higher into 185. So adjust that target if we can get back over here. So that needs to adjust for this more recent dip. So Hood has been able to attract more buyers if that does get through, which means that it can go actually higher in this instance. But 128, key level, not out of the woods yet. Then it gets to 135s. Over 135, she's up and out. Over 135s, you can get a little bit of this. That's how she goes. Otherwise, be on your toes. More cautious, cautiously optimistic, more optimistic than cautious on this one. When Substack?
I'll probably be, it's like 50%, probably be out on Saturday. But these prediction markets, again, I was telling Jason last night, when they came out, Jason was like, because you started using the product when it came out and you were like, this is the future. And I was like, it's cool. But like, now I'm just like, no, this is the freaking future, bro. This is a big deal.
I mean, it's a tool to get to the future. I mean, the future is world domination. Future is every human being in the United States has a Robinhood account, and you're born and you get a Robinhood account as your gift at the hospital. So that's the future, but it's one step towards that goal, and $1 billion, $1,000 stock price, $1 billion market cap, $1,000 stock price, which 10-year goal. Trillion. Sorry, my bad. $1 trillion. But it's a long time out. It's a stepping stone.
All right, we got 4 more main ones, then we'll get into audience ones. AMD. By the way, if you have not followed Jason on Twitter, putting it here in the chat, please make sure. Oh, real quick, this is also what Jason and I are going to be doing if Hoodie gets anywhere near below 100.
Really?
We're going to be running.
We're going
to be running to buy that dip. Future is coming, bro. Tesla just posted this. The future is indeed coming.
The future is. I still have my orders resting. I've not touched those for Hoodie. Just because I'm like, they're resting. They're sitting there. I'm not changing those. Maybe I added a few. I don't know. But yeah, I think cash is nice to have. Dude, before I even start on AMD, I'm still stuck on this. If it gets to the point where like, I might have to be like, look around the stock market again and be like, is there a better stock? I don't know, but yeah, I'm just happy with that one. All right. So AMD didn't quite get to 185. Ooh, she got close though, huh?
Got very close.
Real close. She got into the box. And so this gray box was the box. This guy right here, that is actually the head and shoulders pattern, whatever, completed, meaning if this is the head and the shoulders, it's that 50% of that extended, that's target acquired. So that pattern complete, you don't really have to worry about that anymore unless the worst case it was 182, which at 190, I guess you really don't worry about it. You just kind of close your eyes and buy a little double bottom amidst what is that? There it is. Double bottom. But 227 is, was, and remains the critical pivot and power shift pivot. We'll just zoom out just so you guys see it. So 227 is from here. That's 2024 all-time high. So you'd really want it to be over that. There's still a real possibility that this gets to 185s. So it's still on watch. I would still be more comfortable. This is what you would call a bear flag. It's not a bullish setup. It's actually pretty bearish setup here. Just checking. Yeah. So right at that 50%. So it's where the bears jump in right here. It would have been really weak had it been higher, but right here, that's technically where they would have jumped in at that. I don't use this, but it's 382 on paper. That's where they definitely jump in. So if it holds below 218, which is where it kind of rejected today, it's probably going to retest that general area again. But to me, this is more sideways chop than anything else. Could it still get lower? It could. Yeah, it's not out of the weeds until it's firmly over 227. So no change to this chart, quite frankly. The dip buys are lower. That was a good dip buy. Kind of similar to Ethereum, where the dip buy recently was good. But if we can't get up and out, it's not like the best. But here's what you want to do. Since we don't really care about any of this, what you guys care about, I mean, you need to, I'm just going to request that you fix me sometimes when I get broken like that. And I forget what they care, what they care about is.
That was an interesting choice of words.
Well, I'm broken sometimes because I'm trying to get into the weeds of all this stuff, but they care about.
I can fix you. You need to be fixed.
They care about, is it done going down? And if so, where do I buy it? And then where is it going to go next, right? That's what you guys care about, right? So it's very possible that it's done going down, actually. And if it is, you want to buy it right here, just underneath 210, just a sliver beneath 210 right here. If you want to get very explicit, this is for the editing crew. You want to screen cap this. When you see AMD at whatever this is, I'm going to get nasty in the weeds here at 205.07. Let's go 206.09. Just throw a resting order. It'll fill and then it's going to reverse up immediately. And it's probably going to go to 231. And then,
go ahead. I was gonna say, do you think that 250 range that it was at before is in play by end of year?
Yeah. So you want to lock this double bottom, then you want to lock a higher low, then you want to get up and you want to start see this. And this is the beginnings of structure. After that, Head and Shoulders was completed. It's still a long road. Then you want to see that. That's what good's going to look like. What you don't want to see is you don't want to see this. But where this inflection point is going to be, boom, right in here, just underneath 210. It's not going to be here. You don't want to chase this up there. You don't want to be buying this dip down here. You want to be looking at it right here, inside of 210, just a hair underneath.
If you had to pick which way you think that plays out by end of year, I think it's closer to the 250. I mean, because to me, this one's weird. This is not an NVIDIA story that the market's afraid about AI bubble. I mean, I guess AMD gets caught up in that.
This is where options become your friend, right? And I think that you can use options as optionality, and you could take some short-term bets to pay for longer-term positions if they work out in the short term. And if you don't pay a lot for short-term bets, then those profits will pay tenfold than the longer bets in terms of percentage gains, and also the same dollar amount as longer, more expensive bets. But the losses in terms of dollar losses, net dollar losses, not percentage losses. So position size matters. But the dollar losses will be significantly smaller than if you take, don't smile, this guy. But the dollar losses, if managed appropriately, will be mitigated versus taking large sums of money and putting them into massive amounts of equity or other things.
Yeah.
But so I think you could nibble essentially and stick your toe in the water here. And if it goes well, then in this instance, if it goes well, you can press the gas as it goes.
Yep. All right. Last couple, SOFI.
Looking better.
By the way, Marvell still going 14%.
Do you guys like that? Like you can like tickle him.
Dude, that was the gayest thing you've ever done. That was actually, that's gonna get clipped, bro. That is.
It actually looks good. So this is doing what I was hoping that some others would do. So it's actually holding.
Dude, we have a job.
None of your other guests are this cool. None of your other guests would do that.
That's true. They wouldn't. That's why you're special. So
yeah. All right. So this 28.75, big deal to hold this level. Was resistance right here, right? Had been support for a time in here, resistance here, support recently. So what was resistance, has turned near term
real
into
quick,
support.
pause. Let me just read Trump post. We just got it right now. Trump, we had a very productive call with President Lula of Brazil. Among the things we discussed were trade, how our countries could work together to stop organized crime, sanctions, etc. President Lula and I established a relationship at a meeting which took place at the United Nations, and I believe it set the stage for very good dialogue and agreement long into the future. I look forward to seeing and speaking with him soon. Much good will come out of this newly formed partnership. This is bullish because we just put 50% tariffs on Brazil for coffee, so it looks like maybe that's going down, and then if we have better trade with them, that could be definitely bullish for inflation expectations.
I like that. We still have the yen stuff that's kind of looming. That's the one. The yen and the whatever happened, Chinese real estate is kind of looming. So here now, this is so 24s, low 24s, last TT, 2 TTs ago. Dude, I mean, people that don't like technicals or thought it was just astrology, I swear, like if there was a TT like chat, like they could just like, this is how much I made just by like low 24s, dip buy, kabam. I mean, that's money. TT pays again. Here we are right up in here, actually holding this. I think this does another consolidation. Don't need to press the bet, but when it does get over, which it's really going to try. This is very much going to come down to rates, and we're very likely priced in. So not actual rate cuts, but rhetoric around the velocity of rate cuts to come. More notably, who the next Fed chair will be as well. Heavy low liquidity zone here to fill into the 32s. When we get there, again, I'm just going to say this. I don't think it holds. Here, but I think you can have a very big shot, boom, quick to this area. Don't expect it to hold. Expect some like quick pullback to test this area one more time. Then I want to see that act as support and pull like all this up and turn this entire thing into that trajectory, which, by the way, at that point, We are not talking about 35s. At that point, if that's the case, we're talking about something a lot bigger because that was from a different range. And now, just like Hood, because we've pulled back a lot, we can actually go higher since we've been able to attract more buyers. There it is. So then we're talking about 40s right there. If that happens, because if that does happen, remember, this is going to be very bearish near term. And you guys know those pattern traders. The pattern traders are going to get all up in arms. They're going to see this. They're like, oh, big head and shoulders. What do I say about the patterns? The most bullish patterns is the failed bearish patterns. That is insanely bullish if that happens. So let them get all up in arms here. Don't press this bet here. Don't do that. Wait for this to come and then consolidate a little bit. And when this starts to make the move just a little bit, as it's making the move, then you press this bet. And that's going to be the big one.
Okay. Last one, and then we'll get into audience requests, is Rocket Lab.
It's still hanging. Haven't moved. Dude, another TT pair. Could you believe that happens? Anyways, I don't know if it holds, but here now, look, I would love to see this. I have fun doing this show. Actually, I look forward to the show.
Dude, not everyone, but the people that love TA, they are constantly asking. The amount of messages I got in the morning, hey, it's Tuesday. We're definitely doing Technical Tuesday. I'm like, yes.
Right? Are we doing it? Are we doing it? Right? So patience is a virtue here. It's spelled P-A-Y, patience. And this requires patience. So we want to see this kind of thing happen here. We want to see this kind of thing happen over here. We're not seeing it yet. We're seeing the beginnings of. So just like we were talking about with Meta, we want to see structure form. Look, we're starting to see a little bit of structure, but we are definitively not out of the weeds yet. It's constructive. I'm not giving up at all. I like this. This is going to be very sentiment driven. So this blue line here, where it was support, my caution here is that it is now, still not now. It's still resistance. So deflection. What I want to see is I want to see this get up and over and then have that act as support, right? So plus, buy. That is in this general area over 42. So this is good that the lower end here has held. I'm going to turn this green. Just like it has over here. And I want to see essentially something like this. Can it have a big moonshot like that and then get retested? For sure. But again, this after the breaking upside and then coming back downside to retest it, that's what I would like to see. Right now, it's still acting as resistance. So it's there. Support is in the 40 area. The stronghold of 38's has held, remains to hold, hasn't even been tested yet. What's constructive here is dude, we knew 38's was going to be a big deal. And then they stepped in higher. They stepped in higher than 38. They didn't wait for 38.
Yeah. That's
constructive. So I like that.
Before we move on to the audience ones, can we do ASTS, given it's in the space?
Yeah. So we can blend this. But this is, I just want to be super clear. This is not out of the weeds by any stretch of the imagination. So it's possible. I just don't want to see that 40 area get shellacked, and definitely not that 38. If it does, it's in the 28s, I believe, just to cap this off. Yeah, it's this area over here, which I don't know if that's going to be a screaming buy or not. I'd still have to wait and see because we're fair value to fair value. So this mountain range we need to get through. ASTS. Super similar. So broad downtrend, broken. Does it need to go up? No. They call this like a not a wedgie, but just a wedge. And it's out. Sometimes you get trapped in these patterns. Again, you want to know the patterns, but why you know them, sometimes they just go sideways. I wish I had this annotation tool. It doesn't have white, but sometimes they go sideways. And so what we do is we wait for that setup, and that setup is going to be over 60, 56. And we use lots of tools for confirmation. This is kind of like that. If price was the car that we're driving from city center to city center, this is that congestion area here. So that's good support, if you will. It's a big support range from all of this, and that's holding. So that support range is holding. If it gets any higher, like over 60 spot, whatever that is, 56, which looks like that's going to line up with your 20-day, then you're going to have a straight shot for a couple bucks right to the next one. And your next little city center is going to be here. And that range is going to be from 55 to, that's actually a big percentage. But you get over, I think it's trying, that's 26%. I think it's trying right now, actually, by the looks of this. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I mean, over 55 and a half, this is trying. I can see it. Having tried here, little explosion here, prior resistance, support, resistance, kind of push off today. So I actually would watch this tomorrow if this can hold and push through this area. If it can push through this area, it's definitely happening. Like that, that would happen in short order.
All right.
It's like the whole market's like, we're on the edge. We're on the edge.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the high beta names that got flushed that haven't recovered, it's good because if they did recover, it would be a little too weird. But
yeah. Also, when we talk about this, we're talking about trading. Sorry to interrupt. But trading is like, we're here. I don't mean to say it's going to hold and just continue on. That's not, I didn't say that. So what I'm saying is like, it could do this and then a little simple moving average ping pong and eventually get up and over.
But ASTS didn't, I mean, did it deserve to be $102? Right? Like I'm about from a fundamental, did RKLB deserve to be 7? So it maybe doesn't need to go back to 30, but I don't know if it's going to 100 anytime soon. And that's okay. Like if you're a long-term share, you should be happy that it's not just shooting to the moon unsustainably.
Well, yeah. I mean, yep. So I got confluence here to 73. 73s is what I have. Okay.
I can see that. I mean, it was chilling out there for a while, but the moonshot to 100 or the moonshot from Okta to 92 to 193, like that stuff we all knew at the, like we were all trying to convince ourselves it's not toppy, but we all knew it felt incredibly toppy. And then it topped out. And now the fact that we're even recovering is so nice, but that doesn't mean we can expect these massive all-time highs again. Yeah. Yeah. Which brings me to the other, 10x and 10-year stocks. It was aside from Palantir and Robinhood, which have essentially done it already. So then we go to the B players, the B team is the B team, the B team, and was Rocket. My two picks were RKLB and Rivian, which I kind of poo-pooed on. Mostly Rivian. I definitely think Rivian's a 10x, but I mean, who knows?
What did you say?
So I definitely don't think Rivian was going to be a 10x, but maybe it is. I think they got to get profitable first,
I mean, Rivian's going to be a 10x.
So it's going to be a $150 stock?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like, okay.
I mean, people aren't really buying EVs, so unless it's Tesla, and even then, Tesla's margins aren't that good. So,
well, it could be a $120 stock if you bought it at $128 stock from the 1280 lows. But is that on inflation too? Inflation, is that counting inflation? We'll count it for inflation. But yeah, it totally could be. But in 10 years, yeah. Yep. So we're here. It just kind of brings me to that same concept of like, there's not a lot of levers that have to be pulled for something like a Rivian to actually get there. It's doing everything it needs to do. Rivian here is Palantir 8 between that 8, Palantir and Robinhood between that $8 and $10. You remember when both these two stocks, Palantir and Robinhood, were traversing between $8 and $12 for how long? Like 2-3 years. They made that trek, that 50% up, down, up, down, up, down. This is like just almost infuriating. That's like Rivian to me. And it's doing that trek now. And if it can get a couple things going, flip one switch, it's profitable. Then all of a sudden, things start to happen. You get a couple backers. RJ changes his tune. Amit becomes a fan. He visits RJ at the headquarters in Silicon Valley. He becomes.
I think I'm going to be the one to pump Rivian to a 10.
No, I'm not saying that, but maybe RJ changes a little bit, and people come around to him. Isn't so much an under promise, over deliver. Turns into a Sundar, and starts delivering on a lot of things. In his later years in life, just saying. But for all intents and purposes, this is showing a lot of good strength, and R2 is coming. So yeah, I think this is like de-risk, but again, I don't think you are in this for a short time. It's squeezy, but this looks, as long as they don't dilute, that's the thing. They cannot dilute the shareholder base. And that over here, I think he made a mistake for sure. And I think he learned his lesson. And I think as long as they can build IP from here and monetize their technology, it's got a shot.
Okay, so speaking of dilution, let's get into rapid fire. So this is 2:30 on the clock. We'll take audience requests. IREN. Let's start off with that one.
I went to MSTR because you said dilution.
Well, that one too, but IREN is the one that's really upsetting people on a day like this.
Why?
Well, they diluted I don't know if they diluted. The convertible notes of $2 billion. Stocks down from $80 to $40, so it's cut in half. I mean, this is it's 50, 60, 70.
Rewind TT, right? When we went and said this, like, okay, over here, whatever it was, like, I'm pretty sure it was like here, this drop, and this, and this, and this. We're like, by the way, this, I didn't draw that just now. That was drawn from our session. But it was like, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and not only that, like maybe sometimes you don't buy a stock that's up 8x year to date. Like maybe you just wait. Right?
It was no. So this was actually. So here's a perfect example. This stock was acting perfect. It was acting super clean, technically speaking, until it wasn't. Every one of these pullbacks was incredibly orderly and perfectly measured to the extension, to the penny. And we were calling this thing every one of these little, I mean, you guys, they remember, right? Every one of these little pullbacks to extension, to pullback to extension, to pullback to extension, each one of these was totally orderly until it wasn't, which was like, yeah, it was right here. And
I remember this. This is when people started screaming to buy the dip.
No,
and then it was not a buy the dip. But it went higher after that, which is why people thought they were right.
But right here, that's when it stopped being orderly.
Right.
And you're like, oh, okay, you have a lower high, right? And you have a lower low. This is your structure. Then you have a higher high. Okay, fine. But you have a double top here, and now you have a lower low. So is it over? Look, it's not. It's up to you guys. Like, here's the thing. It's going to be over. Oops. If that gets lost, the 39, right? And so this is just an overlay of that, right? So this is that. So it's simple. These are hard lines on the chart. 42, but it's got to get back over 50 to be back again. If it pops up and you get this rejection, I'm going to call it here at 40. Let me just make sure that this doesn't have, I hear it says overlapping. Let them overlap. Dang it. 42.83. So if it can't, like that's where this becomes real ugly. And this is now your resistance area. So this is resistance, but this chart has changed characteristics already. And quite frankly, it changed characteristics up here. And now you're just what we call breaking structure continuously to the downside. So it is at risk. You'd have to get all the way back up over, you can bounce, but you'd have to get back over this 48.82. And so in order for me to get bullish on this, I'd have to see all of that clear. And I'd have to definitively see.
And there could be any fundamental catalyst. Like this is not a broken company it's just the stock was up 8x.
Yeah. And it's IREN. The thing has an average daily range of like 15%. So right. like it can do this in a single session. Geez, it could do that in a single session. So let's say you like the stock, and let's be bullish here for a second. So from from super lows to mega highs, 33 is your 50 is your right here right now. 42, that's your halfway point from all the way down here. If you cannot get over 42, look, you're basically going down to 33s, but not before then. Before then, it's very possible that you chop and you just go sideways. So it's still not one that I would want to press. You can let this go sideways. Stocks go three directions. It can easily go sideways. Now, after this goes sideways, does it go up? That's got to look like this. Or does it go down, right? Both options can happen, and down looks like that. That's it. And if you like this, well, it's very simple. It's very simple that the moral of this story is that this is not a buy spot. This can be a buy spot. And if you like it, if you really like it, then you wait for it to go higher. So either you wait for it to go higher over 50 and hold, or you wait for it to be lower in the 30s. But you don't diddle in the middle, which is what this is. It's come down a lot too, so I don't want to press this short either.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think this is the time to go short here by any sense.
No.
Okay, so let's get 2:30 on the clock, and let's try to get through the rapid fires. Let's just do Nebius next, given we're on.
I thought Nebius. Say it right.
Nebulous, as per.
This was looking good today. Almost. Dude, my charts have got so much color going on here. Okay, so what did we say?
We need the timer.
The important thing to hold was 76. And that, as long as it was in there, you did want to be a buyer. And that came from over here, and that is held. Cool. So, if it lost 76, 75, then it would definitively pull lower. So, and not to diddle in this middle, right? We don't play in there. So that's good. Hopefully we haven't dealt with that yet. So that's all well and good. So here we are. Back to the bear, dude, what this mouse? Back to the bear zone of where we kind of breached before. So this was that power earnings gap from here. So remember this earnings, I believe this was earnings. Something's wrong with my charts where I don't have, I got to make sure, events. Oh, bingo. Hello. Thank you. Earnings. Oh, earnings was over here. This must be an announcement, some kind of announcement, Microsoft announcement. Earnings was over here. All right.
Yeah.
I got something to work with now. Okay, so this is earnings. Let's go from that swing low to here. All right. So this is the bear zone from earnings, not the Microsoft announcement. Let's zoom into that. Take some of these other lines down that may not be as useful. 20-day is white, 50-day is blue. We know what that is. Not as important anymore. Oops. And we're zooming in on this smaller time frame. I'm dropping down time frame like one to the next. So 98.39. This is important. Smaller view, but these are those ranges, tradable ranges. But not until you get over 104 does this become a big thing. So 104.43. Hopefully you guys can see it a little bit better now. Let me make it slightly larger. 104.43. Then you go to this next kind of resistance area, but I would actually say that goes a little bit higher to here. Until then, expect a little bit of chop. Ideally, you get in there, but you want to see this hold over that 98.39 moving forward. This guy, 98.39. I'd like to see it get pulled up and at least hang out in this general range, just over 100. Otherwise, it can be in this range for a while and do this and the C new structure and eventually do that. Eventually, but all that said, that 76 area holds. That logic remains. That if it ever loses, just let it go. And buy at that 50 sub 60. This is a buy right here, as it was. I don't think you get that again. I think the closest that you can get to that, if you're really sneaky, is probably this 88 in reality, which I think you already had that happen. So I'm out of time, but yeah, I think that is about 88 is where I would expect that to possibly come out and hold here. So that would be the next dip buy spot if I wanted to stay constructive here, which was the old level that I used to text admit on, 84, 88. Anyways, do you want me to text you again?
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay. He's good now. All right. Next.
Can we do BMNR, but do we have to do ETH to do BMNR?
No.
Okay, let's just do BMNR itself.
I mean, people like to. We should do ETH. You know, I gotta say though, I'm disappointed. Did you watch the video I sent you that we're working on for Thanksgiving?
Yes.
It was like a 2-minute. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So I gotta say I'm slightly disappointed with everybody in the effort over the Thanksgiving break. ETH shows its true colors. Crypto shows its true colors over Thanksgiving. If it didn't come up as a topic, well, it was up to you guys to bring it up, and we didn't get the pump, and that was kind of what happened.
We had a little bit on Sunday, and then it dumped.
Right, but we needed to get over 3150 and hold for the bears just to be completely offsides. But that said, I'm holding on for dear life on BMNR. Higher low, that's good. Higher high on a very small structure count. These are fine. This is my little dipper buy, and I think as long as this general area is holding, I'm pretty positive I'm good. I will say that the DATs as a whole, digital asset treasuries, the sentiment around those is important. Luckily, I don't think BMNR is one of those. I don't see any reason to think that it's a Ponzi per se. I hate to use that word, but it may come up. But it's not like they're. I don't see it that way. Structure is good. We're building structure here. This is super constructive. That's exactly what you want to see. this looks good. It actually looks constructive. So as long as I hold these relative lows just over 28, it can even pull back a little bit, but it's 26 that remains. We have a little bit of upside here to 34s. This should take us up to at least this area, 40s, low 40s, and where that prior support was. That's where this bounce should take us. So right in this blue line on a typical bounce. So we should be able to get on this general track of trajectory to here, if not here, and retest this prevailing downtrend. And then we'll see, and where that prior breakdown was. So this lines up to about 3,500 on ETH. That could be a few months out. We can look at ETH now if you want to, but BMNR is going to be here. But this 2872 right here. I want this line to hold.
Great. I think we'll do ETH and Bitcoin at the end because I know we'll take more time on those. But
I think this general trajectory should, for any normal chart, take you to just under 40, which, by the way, is a good from a 26 bounce or from a whatever bounce in TT. Whenever day I said, hey, look, we're buying, or I said that's 40%, dude, on equity. That's a hell of a lot of percent.
Yeah. Agreed.
If we can get there. All right, next.
LYFT.
I can't believe you didn't want to do MSTR.
We can do that after.
Oh, I might have been bullish on MSTR for a second. I mean, you can only be bearish for so long, right? He goes, man. Yeah, again, if we had that TT playlist, this is exactly what we had in the cards.
When you say playlist, you mean like clip each individual?
No. Just you know how just you could go back just like you do for all the other playlists.
But wouldn't you just pull up last week's episode? Why does there need to be a playlist?
No, because if we didn't do LYFT last week, you would just scan through the ones and just click on the hashtag.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and so the last time we talked about LYFT, it was exactly this. And for our crew that was watching LYFT, it was look, we're going to hold this low. We're going to come in. We're probably going to hold this low here. It got bought up pretty heavily and literally said that we should see this back into this 22 area. And that would be it. That's exactly what's happened. That's exactly where we are. I think you have a little bit left. But just like everything else, solid bounce. Lower risk here, taking this long, 20% in a few days. Congrats. Pressing this higher here now, higher risk at this point, because you got to be just, we want to be good bulls, and a good bull knows where the bears are hiding out. So we're not out of the weeds until we're over 20, 23 and change. And even then you have a little bit more, but this looks generally constructive. Zoom out. I don't know that you're in LYFT for a little while. You probably, if you're in LYFT, you're in it for potentially more like a Rivian type thing. And that whole hold was more constructive than not. All of this SMAs are building for a potential next level squeeze, but holding that 2134 is important. Getting over 2575 is more important. And that at that point, then there's no more bears left. And you go to 3152. You do not pass go, do not collect $200. You just go straight to whatever this is. Did I say that right? I don't think I did. But anyways, not before then, though. Before then, we have a lot to deal with. Namely, it's just this little blip on the radar, and we've got some like small presses here. But again, this is one where, like, if you like this, you like it probably for other reasons that are not so technical, and you probably want to like be close to the to Dara's sentiment and whatever they're doing between Uber Freight and what have you, a lot of other things.
Okay. MicroStrategy.
Oh, we are going there. Okay, so not the biggest bull on the street for a long time, but again, I think this is, and I'm not a Saylor fan. To be crystal clear, I'm not a fan of Saylor, like at all. And I do think that what he's done with MicroStrategy has completely confused the crap out of a lot of people with all these different tickers and different things paying. And I do think that it's a potential Ponzi at the end of the day. So none of that's changed, but this is extreme, and leverage to the upside, leverage to the downside. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of that, I think are very close to the lows, if not the lows. This bad boy actually hits all the boxes in terms of the full pullback. And even like from way down here, actually, what was it? We were doing this not that long ago. I don't remember where it was. Don't remember where it was. Oh, maybe it was this one. One of these. Anyways, you're right in here. You're right into, I'm just going to grab this profile from this consolidation. All right, 130 is the absolute lows of this box here. I don't think that you get there. I'm just going to extend that point of control here. There. Here, and I have what I think I was going to call a fair value right over here. So just getting some levels in. And so this box here is that major congestion area. So it's going to be 185 is what it is. So if it's over 185, there it is. There's the one I was looking for. Boom. This is a key order block, 165. And if this can hold over this 185 area, and let's go to the weekly. I'm running out of time. But from a weekly perspective, we have a setup, 1, 2, 3 candlestick, weekly candlestick setup. And this actually gets pretty interesting. 180, 150 here, break of structure, out of time. From this consolidation area, zoom over, boom. So 187, this takes me to pull in a monthly. 50% of this range. So I didn't have this ready. This takes me over 187.29, clean ranges. 218, potentially 225. That's very tradable. So I'm going to zoom back in for just a minute. That does not look like much on the chart, but that is 25% on a chart. And if it can get that trajectory over, which is, it's not there yet, we need 187.29. Then this becomes like a foregone conclusion. And then if that can get higher than 230s, then we're talking about a bigger kind of recovery that can actually hit you to 270s, which could be just a basic run-of-the-mill blip, dead cat bounce. But that is 40% also. So it's worth watching.
So did you take this or no?
I might have nibbled, but we're watching. It's a watch for sure. It's a heavy watch. Just be careful of this area, 230s. So, I mean, even if it's just this, okay, I bought some, but not options. I took a couple shots at options. Did I take 1 or 2 shots, guys? My crew will know if they're here. Have not taken a big swing here yet. But yes, I did nibble it.
Okay.
And I like where we are. So it's something that's brewing. I'm telling you guys because this is one of those times where I'm letting you know before I pull the trigger that it might be coming, which is better than I've already done it. Okay.
CoreWeave.
Same old, same old. So TT lines, nothing changes. Everything stays the same. It's made the trajectory exactly as the weatherman has. This is what it is. It's acting right. The lines are here. So 66 was the lows. That's a good bounce. I mean, that's a 23% bounce in very short order. Got there. Don't press this. It's a high risk press, just the same. At this point, 75 actually should hold. Let me give you one more. Just to, I mean, it's going to be the same level. 72, 75, 72, tomato. It's this general area. You want to see this general area hold on CoreWeave and let it go sideways. If I zoom out, I mean, that's an important price that bounced off 65 right here. That's the IPO press high. It's not out of the weeds. $84 and change is out of the weeds. So I think you let this go sideways for a while and essentially is close to 70. As long as this is holding relatively around 70, low 70s, you're building a base. You just don't want to see it lose 65s. Then you're not building a base, and then you're coming back to these lows. It's pretty straightforward on CoreWeave.
Yeah,
you
I
need
think
to
it's
let this one be.
that data center trade. So, if IREN
Yeah.
has a nasty day, obviously that can be nasty as well.
Yeah, I think it's just credit market too, private credit.
Yeah, 100%. Weeble. This is getting a lot of attention, but
It's just
this
never
one-
going to be Robinhood, guys.
It's not, but I think a lot of people at 15 took this trade heavily. And that's
What?
why people at 15 took the trade heavily, and that's why it's been upsetting for most.
Well, I think they took an investment then. Or a trade that turned into an investment. I mean, it said at 760 it was fine. I did say that. But I also, it's over. It's done.
You think
Is
it's
that right?
bottomed, or
No, I think it's done going up now.
it's done going up?
Yeah, it's done going up, man. It's done going up, my friend. It's definitely done going up. And now it's going to commence the pain train.
Dude, there's like
What do you want me to
300,000
say? Do you guys see this? Like it's right there. That's the IPO price of $9.55. Look, if it cannot get over its first, this is a hard line in the sand. This is, again, simple, maybe not easy, but the low initial trade, 9.55. Look, this is like a dumpster dive. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But and by the way, also like everything else, 26% bounce like in 4 days, like round of applause. Congrats. That's a huge move on a penny stock. So, it's a huge move. When I say it's over, just for today. Okay, so 871 is the session gap. I'm not 872. If this is below 872, it's just not. It's not worth playing around. Well, it's not even that. If it's below this, it is continuously going lower. You have not made a new structural high. You're sitting on the 20-day simple moving average. This has no chance of becoming even close to Robinhood, just fundamentally. So I think that's a big misnomer. But it has to at least get over $10, man, and it has to hold $10 comfortably.
Also, management is shady, bro. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's a Chinese company. This is not an American company. This is not an American stock. This is not an American company.
No.
Just
and look, maybe it gets sympathy and bounces, but as you said, there's been a 30% move. So if it doesn't clear 10, which was the IPO price, then that would be very weird.
I mean, I think that's an easy line in the sand to say, okay, I can feel a little bit better about that. But right here, this little green box, it's just like that's you would want to see it get over 955. Let's move on.
Celsius.
Okay. I haven't looked at it since I bought it. I promised them I would buy it though. I knew it. Okay. So it's good dip buy. Solid good dip buy. So this is perfect example. Low risk, high reward, boom, to here, trading. So do we press it though? No. Do we hold it? Yeah, I think that was a good dip buy. And I think that it makes its general trajectory here. I'm not selling this. I think that was the dip. I think this holds. I think I can get close to it again. But actually, I like where it stopped today. I'm not going to tinker with this. I bought it. I own it. I'm not buying the drinks, but I'm going to put this one in the drawer and see what happens. Because as long as this is holding 3871, this is in fact very constructive. That's 37. This here is, what is this? 3871. I'm trying to make this bigger so you guys can see this. As long as this is holding that general box. So 37 was like, okay, that's where I said I'd buy it. But as long as it's holding inside this box, honestly, I'm good with this. And next time it gets near that box, it should make that press one more time anyways. And then if it can get up and over 44, then that's the bigger move. But I need to give it time to digest this and create that little, what do you call, where the other pattern people see the little smiley face and then it goes. So I got to give it time to create that. And here, I need to take it from here to here. That should take me to 52 on this one. So even on this guy, from here to here, I'm going to hold out for my 40%, possibly 50% on that small little bounce. I think I can get that. And if it can really get back over 60s, I mean, I think the trajectory is really like this, quite frankly. Like that. And that is not necessarily a short-term thing, but check this out. If that goes,
that'd be 70, right?
Oh, I mean, 70 would be just the start. That's the thing. I mean, the whole thesis would still be there, but you're talking many year thing. The original thesis, Rockstar might change this a little bit, but I don't know that this is a 10 bagger in 10 years. I don't think I could say that, but could you get back to those $100 levels in a few years? That's possible. And this brings it to 170. If that ends up being like a big consolidation, break, push, and one more. That's pushing it. One step at a time, one foot in front of the other would look like this.
Okay. Reddit.
Well, first day the squeezes ended. What is squeeze? Good God.
It was
I
like
really
182.
thought I was gonna get lower too.
Dude, so did I.
Man.
I thought this is a high beta quality name that is actually recovering from the flush out.
Well, I mean, it's right back to the highs, so recovered, not all the way here, but made a big move for sure.
Yeah.
And stopped right at the bear zone. This is the bear zone right here. So everything's acting right, like acting very well. And everything's stopping exactly where it should stop, which tells me that we're in for a bit of a pause at the index level. So as we've gone through these charts, just as a side note, everything is stopping, boom, dead, penny precision, like exactly where they should at their upside targets, which doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to go backwards, but it means that we should at least expect some kind of digestion at the index level. And maybe we can have a little bit of a pullback, but those would generally be dip buys, assuming that we don't have any massive like yen carry trade unwind 2.0, which Amit will walk you guys through at a later date. But this still does put you in that $200 price point, specifically here, 193.84 for the next breath thrust squeeze if it consolidates. Let me do one more just to be sure. Yeah, and I'll have some confluence there. So around that same level, if this pulls back, that would be a retest of that same broken downtrend, which would actually be a pretty solid dip to consider buying. And this one, I think even I would have to change my style slightly because this one is just such a squeezy stock. I think you have to use some kind of other volatility tools on this guy, in addition to price action. So I'll update my tool set for this guy.
Any thoughts on ALAB? Big reversal today, up 13, then down 10.
That's ALAB for you. I think ALAB is one of those stocks where, so we're gonna release School of Gains foundations like in the next couple of weeks for you guys, and so everybody here will get a chance to see like an entire series. So I'm gonna make sure that you guys get all of that gratis to an extent, and then we'll go through a lot of these things about stock picking and things like that, and transitioning to trading from investing. But ALAB is one of those stocks where it has the potential to grow into like a massive win, but that bet can't be massive either. There are some bets in the market that like as they grow, they become more like conviction long term. But this is a bet for Astera Labs that has to be a controlled bet. But if stock picking was like gardening, like you're planting seeds, and the stocks that you pick are like money seeds and you're trying to grow money trees, if you will, you're not always going to have like the best crops, but the skill that Amit is honing is picking the best seeds to plant. That's actually one, and knowing which seeds will grow into the tallest, biggest money trees over time. This is one that that has the potential to grow into a very big money tree, but it's sporadic at times. So you have to, that comes with heavy volatility, right? And so this is to be expected. And I think that this kind of custom silicon stuff. Next time you're over here, by the way, we should probably just go over to their headquarters. But yeah, I do like this. And I don't think that you should be jumpy with a chart like this either. I think that this is one where you can kind of nibble at, chip away at. But again, if you do get this area, I mean, yeah, do it. But over in this general vicinity here, 122, yeah, she's a dip buy for sure. This is a standard pullback right on that 200-day SMA. If I turn this green, boom, again to the editing team, throw it down 122, whatever that is. I don't know. 122.65 limit. Slap it in this box. Generally speaking, you don't have to be exact, but just watch for it. Throw a little alert. If they get in there, like just right click, add alert, boom, cool. When they get there, it'll yell at me, and it's time to really look, because right here, that's support, and I have some congestion here. It's also, I got a lot of confluence around 122s, 120 area. As close to 130 as you can. I like it.
Okay. Microsoft, what are you thinking about this one as it's been stuck below 500?
What? Dude, do you guys, we did cover this last week, right?
Did we? Did we cover I don't think.
See, again, if you had all that stuff and I was like, Microsoft is golden for like a bounce that was like, dude, that's such an epic picture.
That's a good one. But anyway, this thing has been, since it's 540, it's been kind of stuck. But yes, it did bounce from 460. You're right about that.
2023.
They got to fix Twitter search, bro. It's not good.
Wow, this is really bad.
Bad, bro. It's like
that. Okay, this is messing up my time. Crap, I literally just did it. But last week, Microsoft, it was a big deal. A lot of confluence that we don't usually get. I'm talking and multitasking at the same time. We don't usually get the type of setup that we got on Microsoft. Update, boom. So Microsoft bearish pattern resolved at a rare confluence point. Technical setup was a double top extension, resolved exactly at the 200-day SMA and 2024 all-time high breach point. It's super rare to get double confluence like this, and ultra precise. So super compelling for a quick bounce, which has happened right there. So if you had it, 468, your boy bought it. Again, it's there. And then the updates are here, right? Potential upside just under 490, so 500. But that was from 468. Anticipated pullback, watching for some structure from here. So the pullback is, I mean, we just got, that was at 480s, we're at 490. So now let's go to the charts. I got 30 seconds left. Look at, dude, 493. I mean, I'm just saying, I like it. I think you can give this some breathing room. Here. So there's your double top-ish, was resolved right here. You're coming into this general resistance, first level resistance right now. So the pullback, if it can't get through this first level, sorry on the timer, guys, but again, you probably don't care about that kind of stuff, but as long as you can hold for we got barely a pullback. What is that, 484? That's where I was thinking it'd pull back, possibly to 483. I think this is buyable as low as 475s if it comes back. And I would like to see, even if it pulls back, I'd like to see that structure. But this dip, I would not be trimming. I would just be holding potentially looking for some kind of ads, little ads here. Realistically, if that fails, just so everybody else knows, there's bigger dips available in this area. I really don't think that's going to happen. I do not think that's going to happen at all. I think what does happen is that this ends up consolidating right here and looks a little bit like that and ends up breaking through 496. Microsoft is an extremely resilient stock. It usually gives you about $150. I posted how much it usually gives you. It usually gives you $100 and $150. I forgot what this percentage was. 25 to 30% a year, every year, over the last 10 years on average. But it really depends on when you buy. So the buy zone has to be around that kind of area. So that the target here is legit for this to slow and steadily break out and into next year, show me 600s. And this, anything in here, that's what we're looking for. And that is the setup to DCA. There's your 30%. From now to next year, on average, that Microsoft gives you $150, roughly 30% every single year for the last 10 years on average. That's next year's target. Done.
Okay. This one has earnings tomorrow, so I don't know if you.
Yeah, that's it.
Salesforce. What do you think of this one?
Oh man, I should have known that you were going to say something like that. How are we on time overall? Are you sorry
We
if
got
I'm
5 minutes left, but we're good.
okay? Sorry about the flows and stuff.
Oh, no,
We've
we're
been. Are we okay? Like kind of bouncing around today.
No, we're good. And a lot of this stuff is like names that are starting to recover. So the question on people's minds is it real or not? You know.
Han Solo, maybe I should funnel into Microsoft. No, but you should know what the statistics are. So if you're going to play in the stock market, know what the averages are. If trading, investing is all a numbers game, there's what the saying is, it's better to be lucky than good. It's just a saying. Nobody is actually just lucky. It's all a skill, but the skill is having this repeatable process and being able to actually define statistics and averages and put an edge to the things that you do. And it's as simple as this kind of stuff. If you can't just do these basic things with strong fundamentals behind you, then you don't really have an edge, and you are in that fact just guessing, and everything does become male astrology or female astrology, just and Mercury's in retrograde, and that's the best thing that you have to go on. But unless you have something else, but if you have something else, then you have something else, and it's not a guess. Did you like how I snuck in the Mercury in retrograde?
Dude, it's the best thing ever. Best thing ever. Salesforce. So what are you thinking about this one?
I'm pulling up this seasonality. All right. So January is their best. 83% up, on average 6.7%. So January is their best month. But the last week of the year, 100% of the last 6 years, it's up 2.5%. This week, not so much. Okay. Interesting.
I just think they need something to change the narrative tomorrow.
So maybe you wait. So CRM is so it's usually their biggest quarter.
Yeah.
Chart looks like sketchy. I don't know that you have to rush in front of this because the downside here is in the 200s. But we talked about this before. The upside, I mean, this is an important stock. So just from this, it's important because of its weight in the Dow, by the way. Dow is it's a price weighted index. It's $235 stock. I guess it's cheaper. I guess it's a smaller part of the Dow now. Oh God, that's bad. But it's got to get over 250. In the meantime, this is the support area, generally speaking, at 211. So this 211.20 area here, that is your general, as a general support for CRM. And you can kind of see that the high volume node, traffic node right over here. It didn't quite get there. So that's what I say, like your downside is immediate. I don't think that something like this would just completely flush out. I just don't think so. I mean, if it does, it's 150 after that. Like if you can't hold the 200s post earnings, then it is here. And in that instance, then this whole whatever does play out. And if that's the case, it's not yet, is the problem. It hasn't broken this head and shoulders. Yeah, but that head and shoulders target would also be acquired. Downside target would be acquired right here at 150. But this line, and really where it's sitting right now, is that power shift line from this head and shoulders. Because like if this is the head and this is your left shoulder, this little blip on the radar here, left head, right shoulder, it's a super wonky head and shoulders. I don't like it. But this is the neck, so to speak, right here. And so it's sitting on it. It hasn't broken. So it's not like this is happening. It's not that. It's a general range in between here and here. And this is your traffic area here. So it's gotta, if it can get back up and over 247.50 and through this high traffic area, it's on the up and up. So to this end, I don't know that I don't think you have to step in on CRM here and now. I think you can wait to see, because the upside for something like CRM is actually pretty substantial if it does like do well. So let's say from 247, it does well. I think realistically, you're looking at the 300s again. And just in this instance, all right, well, that's 25%. That's not bad, right? And it was just there like not that long ago anyways. So like, I don't know that you have to jump out and wait or and front run this necessarily. Does it show up at 300 tomorrow? You know, CRM, it does do some really weird stuff. So I will say that
we got to move on. We got some more tickers.
Yeah. So it's a guess. You just got to look at how much it moves. So like sometimes 5%, downside's 200, upside at most your 20% is the biggest move it's had. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, look, this one also, I mean, earnings are tomorrow, right? So realistically, like until we get those earnings, we're not going to know.
Yeah, I don't think you have to jump in front of it.
Yeah. Oracle, which just had their credit default swaps close at their highest level.
Oh,
I mean, people don't like this 40 billion in debt. They're not happy about it.
Well, it also stopped going down,
which was good.
They have earnings coming up also. So, okay, so it's just so CRM, see how like this is in regards to Oracle. So see how CRM has earnings like today or tomorrow, right? Like right here. And about how long ago? From here to here, that's about 6 days or 11 days, sorry. So 11 days before earnings, you tend to get this pre-earnings run up. That's just typical. So Oracle earnings, the 15th, which is about 2 weeks from now. For now, I think you can see a similar move on Oracle into that 230 area ahead of earnings, just as that anticipation. Key levels here is as long as it's over, 205 here, it can get to that 230 for a dead cat bounce. And then it's a show me story. I say dead cat bounce, sorry. Then it's a show me story. So after that, it's gonna be up to earnings. But can you get an anticipation move into that general area over the 200-day SMA? I think you can. And I think it can get into that high 220 bounce in the next week or two. It might look good, but it's gonna come down to earnings.
I also think the credit markets are freaked out for no reason. I mean, unless Oracle completely messes up the data center build out, like
credit markets are way freaked out.
Yeah, like really the highest level since 2009. I mean, again, that's assuming, because if Oracle messes up on AI workloads, the other guys are not going to be that much better. I mean, they'll be better, but not that much. Like if there's a fundamental issue with their
look at what Jack's saying. Nikkei average futures. This is the deal right now. So this is the yen carry trade 2.0 and the new prime minister.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's also why Bitcoin got hit a couple of days ago.
I wholeheartely agree. I think that is actually playing out a lot in crypto, more so than the stock markets. Yeah. These Japanese people so deep into crypto, man.
Can we do open door real quick?
Ooh, I have not looked at this in forever, dude. Do you see my rocket?
Oh yeah.
Open.
I feel like the hype kind of died on this one, but the stock's still up 7x. So
yeah, I mean, it definitely died, but it's not. To your point, it is not. It's going sideways. It's consolidating. This is healthy.
Yeah.
A best case scenario, this goes sideways for another 6 months.
Agreed.
Yeah, actually, that is pretty healthy. But after that kind of a move, you don't want to see it like massive, like just completely keep going. That's unsustainable. So this is what you want to see. You tag that 569 area. I'm going to take this from here. Oh yeah. I like 628 and it's held that a couple times. So I just took that. I just took my pivot point from here, this more recent low. And so that $5 dip actually looks good. And then the next thing you want to see is it hold that 628, which is exactly what it's doing. And then if it can break through, there it is. So now if it can get through the bear zone, again, everything's acting right. This is the bear zone, but not until it gets over 9. And when it does get over 9, then that's a big move. It is like so. So for now, you're like this. These are your moves. Like that. That's a big move. But it's got to get free and clear of this $9. range. Right now, you're in the bear zone. Again, rate dependent. Next. Sorry about or CRM. ONDS. ONDS. Well, looks like some old drawings. Very wonky squiggles. It hit close to. Let's see if it made it. So 737, 731 are prior levels. Just trying to make them so you guys can see them a little bit better. This was the bull zone to hold, which it did, dip by. Now we're in the bear zone. God, and she's stuck. So when she's stuck like this, this is the box. You kind of just got to be a little bit patient and expect it to ping pong like this. The magnet, big magnet, 820s. Oh, wow. I got double magnets. That is, so okay, clearly that's 50%. All right, that's the 50% range. So this would basically be ping pong in here until eventually you're out, up and out on one of these two. You have a little fair value. If that's the trajectory, this is drones, eVTOL. What is this one?
Drone platform.
What was the drone company that you were pitching the other day on the tweeter?
Kratos.
No, I think it was a different one I'd never heard of. Another. It was one of the sponsored spaces.
Oh, I wasn't on that one. I don't know who was there.
Yeah, you and
someone else pitched
Vishal.
Kratos. No, but the one we did where someone pitched, it was Kratos. Whatever sponsors. I don't know.
Okay, so on DOS, if she can get through 9.25, 930, really, obviously then you got to get through 10, but your upside trajectory is here. In the meantime, $7 ends up being your low sevens, very low sevens, specifically 723, which is what it just held, is your support, near-term support. It's stuck. I would let it be for right now. Yeah, I think this stays stuck for a little while. I think that whole traversing those ranges actually takes a little bit, but probably plays out next year. Just by the looks of this, it could take a while. If you like it, you like it. Barring some of the news.
Dutch Bros, Anthony again, saying if you like it.
What do we do? What do we do? I didn't do it. He made the move so fast. Okay, Anthony. What do you think? I was waiting for my buddy to release his Substack.
Yeah, I have not. I don't think this will probably be a 2026 deep dive for me, but I just haven't looked at it enough to even have an opinion.
Okay.
Like if I'm going to buy a food and beverage name, I have to really believe the product has a chance to succeed heavily.
Yeah.
I know you're looking at technicals, but that's what I care about. Like, are these guys, do they have a shot to be the next Starbucks? Not literally, but is that their ambition? Because if it is, that's more exciting. But I don't know.
I mean, I think that is, but they are not. No, not Starbucks. I don't know. They're too niche. Like I don't think they want to be Starbucks. They're more niche, but fast growth for sure. So 55. I think if this can pull back disappointing pullback, say 53s, and retest this lower end and start to bounce, that's what I want to see. And then depending on the market sentiment and where we are, then I think that would be ideal. The reason I'm so hesitant to really do anything on this is because, like, I guess similar to what Amit's saying is that, look, if I'm going to do something on a stock like this, I'm really not trying to think so short term on this guy. Like, if I'm going to do something here, it's really not about the very near term. Here's the since inception chart. And so think back to the charts that you like, right? Like, think back to your hoodie, think back to your Palantir, think back to your SOFI. What's this look like? I mean, is it one of those? Possibly. Do you have to rush into any of those in this situation? No, I really don't think you do. And like, what this was is from this low to that high, that tag 47, that's a good deal. And if this does end up, and what I said was 55, what's 55? 55 is right in here. And I start to see that. That's what I'm talking about. If I see that. So that's what I mean. And if that is the case, well, what do I really care about here? Like, what are we talking about? So what we're talking about is 2700s. And so for me to get into this stock, I must be looking at this kind of trajectory. A $50 stock, investment, trade, whatever, that moves like this, I have to have a good risk reward profile, which for this profile, I need to have a longer time horizon, and I need to have a story that can actually take me to here. And can it take me to here? I think it can. And then I just kind of weigh the pros and cons. Is this worth it compared to my other options? And it's not a bad one, but I want to be sure, and I don't want to get, what's the word? I don't want to get impatient waiting for this to happen and sell the lows either. So if I get in, I want to do it slow, steady, methodical, maybe buy these dips, but for this trajectory, like you guys have done with SOFI.
Right. All right, we got time for one more. Jason, again, thank you for being here. This is Jason's Twitter. I'll put it in the chat. Please make sure to follow him. You want to real quick talk about your School of Gains that's launching as well?
Well, we're finalizing some last things. It's going to be released in phases, if you will. So, I mean, we'll put out a list essentially. What we're going to do. I mean, there's not much to talk about right now for you guys, since, you know, the community that you built, Amit, and like everybody here has been a big part of our story for sure. This has probably been like culmination of so much, a year maybe in the making. But it's the cradle to the grave logic of like taking everyone that knows nothing about stocks or trading, literally nothing, and all the way through to being able to trade like a legitimate professional. You'll be able to sit down, like my son should be able to sit down next to Amit, and these two should be able to take this, we call it the apprenticeship, and go from knowing nothing about the stock market. You give it to your parents, to your children, whatever, and by the end of it, actually be able to build a custom system catered to you guys specifically. I'm not selling my system. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about building the actual core skills, developing people strategically so that they can build a system designed specifically for them based on their schedule, based on how they look at stocks and the market, and become your own traders. This is a totally different thing. Nobody's done anything like it, but it's a massive piece of work. And the first module, if you will, is going to be like 10 episodes or something. And for sure, it's going to be called the foundation track of the apprenticeship. And for sure, I want you guys to absolutely be part of it. And then you'll have a decision to decide if you want to continue on from there. But that is cradle to the grave, you know nothing, all the way to professional trader. And yeah, it's I figured it's the best thing we can do for the community.
Initial 10 episodes for free, and then if people want to move forward, they can. But
this is the first time I've actually said that that's what we're going to do. But that is actually what the plan is. And because it's very much about this foundational component. Because over the years, look, we are the best of the best at taking very good traders and making them world class. I don't think I've ever come across anyone that's better at doing exactly that than us. But we had a decision to make. We were just too advanced for a lot of people, and at the end of the day, it was just like, do we continue to do that and become this organization that's overly specialized and only catered to advanced traders? Well, no, that's not why we built the company. And so take a step back, pull it back quite a bit, and start from ground zero, from the cradle, you know nothing, and bring everybody up with a solid foundation. So whether you know nothing or you're probably semi-pro now, it doesn't matter. Both of these two people are going to be able to sit down, take these courses next to each other, and everyone's going to get something. It's either going to fill gaps that have held people behind for many years, or it's going to give them the best foundation that they possibly can have when starting out from nothing. So in either case, this is it. And I've never seen anything like it, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what people think of it, and yeah, it'll come with the community. You guys will get access to all of us, and it's a huge thing. I'm very excited. I'm sure everybody's gonna like it.
I love it. Last one for the day: Bitcoin.
Oh, Biddy. Screen share.
And again, Jason's Twitter, I'll put in the chat so people can get more details on that as well. All right, is this going to 100K by the end of December, or what do you think?
I mean, why you got Tom Lee this and be like, slap solid round number and a very specific date on this?
Well, no, Tom Lee, if I said it's going to 200K, that would be a Tom Lee question. But I'm asking for just give me 100, coach. That's all I'm asking.
So I did say wait for 70s. I don't know if I get 70s. But a lot of these things, so the crypto bounce has actually held. I was worried there for a little bit, but 2,700 on Ethereum and this 8,400 on Bitcoin, actually a big deal. Quite a big deal to hold. So very constructive here. This is that most recent base. Is it over? I think this has a lot to do with that yen carry trade. It's building a base. If this gets over 90s, or not 90s, this is going to head into that 95 area right there. So it's got to get over this. And so from here, remember a couple weeks back, we were talking about what does a bearish to bullish reversal look like? Step one, 20-day SMA. That's step one. That's this white line. And we're kind of coming over it. So I think you could chop around this, and then you get to the 50-day. That's going to land you right at that 95 area. Step two is to get over that, and you're going to traverse into 106. So is it 100? No. Is it 106 or so? Yes. Is it December? It's probably January. How's that?
So if it's not December, then we're ending the year below 100, basically. I mean, I asked the chat this morning, and 70% of people said we'll get to 100 by the end of December. So I don't know. I'm just curious on where you think
It's 29 days. It's very possible.
It's possible, right? Like, it's not crazy to imagine it.
Oh, not at all. Like, it's like one or two little switches that have to get flipped, and poof, we're there in a weekend. Like, really, like in a single weekend. It's not going to take that much. Again, crypto is like the rawest form of supply and demand. It's exactly that. So it's, if you can get there. So 87, this was that kind of like bullish hold.
Yeah.
And here's where we are. This is the bear zone. So I think that you I think you have an extremely high probability of at least getting to 103.44. Is it 100? No. And then the next question is, do you hold that? I don't think so. I think you are more like this and then that.
Okay.
And then you have to deal with whatever that is. And if you do get that, I mean, that's even still, it's not that bad, because I would rather see this later and a little, and then you're good to go, and you're still on your way, and nothing's actually changed to whatever that is. What was this? 140s. Yeah, I don't think this has, let's just update this. No, 150s.
Okay.
But one step at a time, yeah. One foot in front of the other. It's going to be up to everybody else. Like, if they can convince, look, you guys didn't make it happen on Thanksgiving. Yeah. So you got two more opportunities. You blew it on Thanksgiving. That's all I can say. You got Christmas. Then you're going to have New Year's. You got two more chances. That's it.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look, I think 100K isn't that crazy, but I feel like it's psychological now. And if it pumps to that level, then we're going super risk on, and maybe we don't do that end of year, even with the rate cut. So,
yeah, maybe. I like it though. I mean, all of this to say, like, dude, Ethereum dipped by here. I was shocked that it held all of that. 2750, super bullish hold. 3166 is going to be that key level. That's equivalent to, let me know on time. I took the timer down a while ago, by the way.
Yeah, that's the last one anyway. So
no, we're good. We're good on Biddy. 3166 on ETH is the inverse iCarumba triggering. That takes us to about 35. Also, from a 2,600 to 3,500, that's 35%. That's BMNR 40s right there. But 3166, bears are covering near term. We should see that. And then we have another cohort of people to deal with. And that was, remember we were looking at that chart super long term. I mean, you have the makings of a potential weekly squeeze happening, just so you know, en route on a weekly time frame. I don't know about a monthly, not a monthly. So it's on a weekly only. I don't have it on all time frames, but it's that 3166 level. If it gets over, it's going to look good. We should have 35 right behind it. And then we're right back where we were, 35.62, which is a month ago, where I said we would be talking about it one more time of here's the deal, right? Whether or not we're actually out of the weeds or not. So
All right.
it's not that bad. Yeah, it would just be something like that, right? And that's it.
All right, that's what we got. There's Jason's Twitter in the chat. We'll be back, or I'll be back tomorrow morning. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said around the market conditions. Like, it feels like we're setting up for an uptrend towards the end of the year, but it's like it's towing the line because we just came through all the red. So I think all of us are just like, do you really trust net new long money is a good risk reward here?
Yeah, it's a good way to say it. Like, new money long, it's high risk new money long here. Do I sell stuff? No, right?
Yeah.
But it's better to wait a little bit to see if we can clear some hurdles. And then I can say, oh, we're good. And be happy. Plus, I don't want to ruin Christmas because, hey, this has been a hell of a rally from the lows, man. I mean, do you guys remember how hard, dude, Amit didn't even buy any hood, you guys. Everybody else in the chat, okay, give me a 1 if you bought the hood dip. Literally half of your community here is going to throw down some 1s, and Amit's going to be the only one that didn't.
Okay, but then ask how many people are buying 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 121, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like,
that's fair.
Boy was buying every single day.
I also would throw a 1 down for that. Right?
Dude, there was a point, I think 3 months in a row, every day I bought some hood. So it's like, it's hard for me to buy the dip, not because I don't love it, but because how much more, like at some point you have to manage a portfolio, right? Like,
not gonna lie, even today I was like, do I buy some more hood?
I think about that all the times in the 120s, but then I'm like, we get a whipsaw, hood gets destroyed. Like like nothing protects hood from that. Like, at least SaaS companies have reoccurring revenue. Like, nothing but jumps, hood's done for that time,
Yeah. It takes it on the chin. They did come out with those 2x leverage, the 2x inverse, the 2x inverse Palantir, BMNR, and hood tickers now, which I don't know. Those are tough. Yeah. I don't know.
No, but I do agree. Like, it's proving more and more this is a generational company, and the dip should be bought. So it makes sense. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys.
You rock. Adios.
Thank you, Jason. Bye, everybody.
Bye.